Vitality Blast Cricket is back. Just make sure you're ready for blast off.
Brilliant, that's out, that's a good catch as well, Al Davey.
They popped all their fireworks.
Edged, has it carried? It has, first ball for Miles.
Oh, that's a big shout.
In the air and out. Brilliant victory for the Birmingham Bears.
Hello everybody and welcome to Beer Den TV, where today we're going to be focusing on the 6th match of the Birmingham Bears T20 Blast campaign. They're taking on the Nottinghamshire Outlaws in what promises to be a very exciting match here at Edgbaston. My name is Atif Nawaz. I'm going to be your host this evening, and joining me is the captain of Warwickshire, Marie Kelly. Marie, lovely to have you. Good to see you again.
And you, thanks for having me on.
Pleasure to have you. We've got an exciting game today, and can I start by saying congratulations already? Terrific start to the season already. So it's barely started. You're already winning things.
I know. Well, we had a couple of matches rained off early doors, and so we went straight through to the final, and we won both games on the day, so we are still reigning champions.
Fantastic. I mean, it's great to see that success back-to-back. Great success from this Warwickshire team already this season. 4 out of 5 on the winning side. Good start.
I know, it's been awesome to see the guys out there showing their skills. Obviously, Hain Train all the way, fully behind that, and great to see Mo in a Bears shirt as well. Yeah,
Moeen Ali is back. He played his first game back for the Bears last night. Not the result I'm sure he wanted, but a chance to fix that today. From one Warwickshire captain to another, let's now go over. The toss has already taken place. The Birmingham Bears have won and opted to field first, so Nottinghamshire will be batting shortly. We caught up with Moeen after the toss.
I'm here with Bears captain Mo Ali. Mo, can you share with us the result of the toss?
Yeah, we won the toss, so we're going to have a ball.
Okay, great. And do you have any team news you'd like to share with us?
Same team as last night. Obviously not the result we wanted, but we've got a good side.
Okay, and just in personal news, it's first time back as a home debut as captain, being away with the IPL. Congrats on that. How excited are you to be back here at Edgbaston?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Obviously, I live around the corner, so I'm proud to be back and happy to be back and hopefully put on a show for the guys.
Absolutely. Well, good luck for today's game. Thanks, Mo. Okay, just to confirm that Bears have won the toss and have chosen to bowl first.
And there we go. We're going to be seeing the Nottinghamshire Outlaws batting very soon, and the crowd is building up nicely here at Edgbaston as well. We had 11,000 plus on Bank Holiday weekend, and it's been a lovely day here today, expecting a big crowd as well. There was for the women's game that was on a bit earlier as well. I mean, batting second, chasing on this surface, it feels like the right move.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously Bears will be a bit more confident than Notts probably are at the minute. Notts only winning 2 games recently, so not a bad move, I guess, to bowl first and try and get them out for a low total.
You spent a bit of time in that Notts area, so have you got any intel? Like, what's the vibes like in that T20 environment? Just because it's not, I feel like they expected a different season. Notts haven't done too well, obviously losing last night as well. Yeah. It's got to be a bit disappointing over there.
Yeah, I think so, especially with the talent that's in their dressing room. They're a pretty chill side, pretty level-headed, so I'm sure they won't be too phased about how it's gone so far, but they'll certainly be looking forward to getting a good performance out here tonight, so let's see how it goes.
It'll be tough against Warwickshire, the Bears, Birmingham Bears, all the names here. But yeah, I mean, they've had a terrific start, again, as we say, like 4 out of 5, been very, very successful, found a really good combination. Okay, didn't win last night, but other than that, they've looked very imposing.
Absolutely, they've just looked really dominant, putting some really powerful performances. Hopefully we get to see Maxwell as well tonight, show what he can do again. So yeah, it should be a really good game, really exciting.
There's something about the overseas players, isn't there? We've got Glenn Maxwell here, and obviously Shaheen Afridi from the Outlaws. They haven't quite come to the party yet. I mean, there's some big expectations from players like that, both from Notts fans and from fans of the Bears. It's not happened yet. I mean, what do you think that's about?
Not yet, but maybe tonight's the night that they can go out there and do it. I think the way cricket's going at the minute, it's obviously a massive power game and everyone's trying to be really positive, and sometimes that doesn't come off, but that means when it does come off, it's super exciting to watch. So hopefully tonight we get to see that from both sides.
Yeah, well, more so one than the other, but no bias, of course. No bias, of course. It's a surface you've played on many times and been very successful on, of course. What do you think is a good total for? Let's look at it from a Bears perspective. What would Warwickshire like to hold the Outlaws to?
That's a good question. I'd say anything around that 150, 160 mark, I think they'll be happy chasing. It definitely looked like the outfield was quite quick out there as well, so from the previous game. So yeah, I think 160 under that, I guess, and they'll be pretty happy going chasing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be exciting to see either way. It's two very exciting teams, and we can tell you the team that is going to be lining up for the Birmingham Bears today. It's a very exciting lineup with the captain, Moeen Ali, back at the top of the lineup. He's going to be opening the batting, fresh off winning the IPL with the Chennai Super Kings as well. More silverware, or goldware maybe, for Moeen. Alongside him will be Alex Davies, who's had a terrific season as well. Not too many yesterday, but in general, he's having a terrific season. He'll enjoy opening with Moeen. And at number 3 will be, just as Marie said, the international superstar, Glenn Maxwell, the big show. We haven't seen the fireworks from him yet, but we're hoping they're going to be coming soon. Sam Hain, the Hain train, in at number 4. He's been in terrific form this season, just as he was last season. You get the feeling that something very big is around the corner for him. Chris Benjamin in at number 5. We expect to see him, with some fireworks from him as well at some stage. I've seen him share a couple of good partnerships with Sam Hain, but I'm sure he's hoping for big things going forward as well. Dan Mosley will be in next. He won the Player of the Match award the last time the Bears were here at Edgbaston. Had a good chat with him afterwards. Lots of wickets for him. He'll be hoping for some runs to go with that as well. Ed Barnard will be next. He got second top scored last night against Derbyshire. He got 27 off 20. Again, we'll be hoping to have an impact with the ball and bat. Danny Briggs, one part of that spin quartet for the Warwickshire Bears, the Birmingham Bears. I keep wanting to call them Warwickshires because Marie's here today. Yeah, he'll be there as well, Danny. Following him will be Henry Brooks, who was not out last night against Derbyshire. He'll be pleased with that, I'm sure. Following him, it'll be Jake Lintott in at number 10. I just saw him briefly downstairs, had a little wave, had a little hello from afar. Always terrific fun and great value down the order for the Bears. And closing out the lineup, at number 11, it'll be Craig Miles, the fast bowler. Again, he's been doing well this season. They'll be hoping that he can continue that good form. That is your lineup for the Birmingham Bears. It is a very imposing lineup, one that's seen a lot of success as well, Marie. I mean, it's hard not. I mean, I know it's early and he shouldn't go early, but it's hard not to see them going all the way this year.
I know. I think the way that they've started, I think if they can carry that on, there's absolutely no reason why not, that we shouldn't see them in the finals like before.
It's a big lineup. I mean, we've got Hassan Ali as well, who's on the sidelines, expected to come back in a couple of weeks, perhaps next week. But I mean, just looking at it, that is just wall to wall, like solid. I mean, a lot of teams don't have that lineup right now. We've seen a lot of sort of circumspect kind of teams where sort of there's some iffy selection or some, sort of courageous selection, let's put it. But this Bears team looks solid from top to bottom. Absolutely.
I think it's a really well-balanced side. They've got some clear roles within the group, lots of different variations as well from bowling attack, and a really powerful batting lineup as well. So, yeah, they're in a really good spot.
Yeah, and they'll be looking good to chase. Moeen Ali's back in the team as well. Last night, again, couldn't get the win. But having a player of that magnitude back in your side, it has to make you feel more confident. Absolutely. I think, like we've seen in bat all the time, he's just so calm, even in those kind of high-pressure environments. So I think just having someone of his calibre leading the side just puts us in such a good stead to hopefully get the win out there today and moving forwards onto finals. Absolutely. That's what we're hoping for anyway here at Bear Den TV. Now, there's some great people who work here at Warwickshire, and I've had a chance to meet a lot of them over the last few seasons. And one of them is the head of turf management here, Gary Barwell, who's got a very special message here brought to you by Allet Mowers.
We're very lucky. A lot of the grounds have their practice facilities out in the middle, so you'd see the first team would be training out here today. The idea is here at Edgbaston that we said earlier on, we go from under 10s to over 70s. If you blindfolded anybody, they would, other than the stadium, our pitches are the same loams, the same fertiliser programmes, the same grass seed. Everything is exactly the same, even up down to the hybrid stitching that's in. It's the same hybrid stitching on the nets as it is at Portland Road as it is here. You know, we've really up the nets over there. They're in fantastic order. I'm really proud of what the boys do. Mark now and Brandon does it over there with Dave. We provide nets 9 till 5 every day of the week, and the players are in them all the time, which is a bit of a testament to how we do, you know, how good they are. The biggest thing for me is it gives an opportunity, 2 opportunities. One opportunity for a player to train at any point of any time of the day. But the other one, it actually gives an opportunity for any of my team that are learning what they want to do. So Brandon's 25, he's coming forward, you know, hopefully one day he'll be a head groundsman somewhere, but he's learning his craft with first class players, but on a training venue where I'm around, you know, Mark's around, the lads are there to help him. He's got all the tools in the box to do it, and it's the same as a satellite ground. It's exactly the same principle.
That was Gary Barwell, the head of turf management here at Edgbaston, a man who makes sure that turf is looked after. I got told off once for getting too close to it. But then again, I'm not the Warwickshire captain. You are, Marie Kelly. Listen, it's a very exciting time in the Blast. It just moves at a great pace, this tournament, and it always throws up surprises. I mean, I find it quite surprising. I mean, no disrespect to the teams, but Somerset in the South group and Worcester in the North group are both, you know, like at the top, unbeaten in their groups. I mean, I didn't see that coming. Did you see that coming?
Absolutely not. I think it just goes to show the way the game is going, that this real aggressive mindset, I think it's freed players up quite a bit, and you're starting to see some really good players that probably not heard too much before, really kind of just showing what they're made of and putting on some really exciting performances.
How do you hold on to that consistency? I mean, it's as you say, it's a variable format. Anything can happen. Any day, like, things can get away from you. You know, 1 or 2 overs here or there. But as a team, and with a strong team as well, you strive for a bit of consistency. We've talked about not struggling with it, and the Bears have it right now. I mean, where do you find that? How do you hold on to that?
I think it's about recognising that it's not going to come off for each player every single time, and it's about stepping up when it's important. So the best team will have a different person step up each time. Like, Haynes not going to go and get 70 every game, but Maxwell might and Moen might. So it's just about somebody taking the reins each game and making sure 1 or 2 of you really stand up with the bat or the ball.
There's pressure, isn't there? There's pressure on big players. We've talked about it in other counties. If we just pick one at random, like Middlesex, for example, they considered there's a lot of pressure on Stevie Eskenazi and Joe Cracknell at the top of the order, because, you know, that middle order is considered not as strong. With Warwickshire, it's not the case. That middle order is very strong. You got, as you say, Sam Hain in there. You know, you got Chris Benjamin. They back kind of all the way down. Yeah. But even so, if you're coming in, you're Moeen Ali, you're taking over the captaincy again. You know, you're back at this club. There's been a lot of marketing and everything behind it because it's Moeen Ali. Of course there is. There's an expectation. Pressure? Do your shoulders get a little bit, you know, tighter thinking about the pressure?
Yeah, I reckon so. But there's a bit of a saying that pressure's a privilege as well. And I'm sure Moeen will be thrilled to kind of have that pressure, and players like that are so good at performing, they'll thrive on that pressure, and he'll love that. And he's just so calm in those moments, and like you say, he's come off the back of winning in the IPL, so he's played a much bigger game at times, so he'll be feeling absolutely fine, and he'll be fine to get us over the line.
He seems very relaxed. I saw him a little bit earlier down on the ground. Danny Wyatt was there from the Charlotte Edwards game as well, so they were all very relaxed, having a chat, very chilled out. What's the best thing about being down there in the ground in Edgbaston with a big crowd? What's your favourite thing about it?
I think it's just the energy. Like, obviously the Hollies is amazing, but everybody just seems happy watching. The crowd just gets going. It's always just a happy place to play, and you just feel the buzz around the ground here for sure. Yeah,
it's a great city, a great place to watch cricket. I enjoy it. I'm not even from here, but I really like it here. And I spend a lot of time at this ground. The action will get underway very, very soon, but I can see the crowd is building up as we speak. So there are a few other sports events going on around the country today, but they're all done now. Everything is done. We can focus on the T20 Blast as it should be. Just while we've got you, Marie, just quickly tell me about your goals for the rest of the season. I know you're going to play in a few different competitions. You're going to rack up a lot of fuel points in your car, I'm sure. Yeah. What are you hoping to achieve this season?
Well, sorry to mention the Blaze, but we are unbeaten so far. I think we're the only team in the country, men or women, not to have lost a game yet. So our goal is obviously to try and to win the finals of the Charlotte Edwards Cup. And then for me, it's just scoring more runs. I think, like you said, that consistency, it's starting to build, and trying to be aggressive. It's not always going to come off, but yeah, it's just trying to contribute to make sure I'm helping out some team wins. So,
absolutely. We don't mind you mentioning the Blaze at all, because you're 5 games unbeaten at the moment.
Yeah.
5 games unbeaten, the Blaze. They're doing very, very well. But then again, they did quite well as well. The Sparks earlier today, completing a win over the Southern Vipers here at Edgbaston, watched on by a really good crowd as well.
Absolutely.
And you were out there enjoying the action. Anybody catch you right?
Absolutely. Erin Burns did very well. Obviously, Danny Wyatt, Waggy, she had a great innings. But yeah, Erin Burns had a pretty good spell, and then Bethan Ellis as well at the end there took some crucial wickets and defending, so I think 12 off the last over to win the game, which is not an easy feat by any stretch of the imagination. So yeah, it's just a good game to watch, and the crowd were really getting involved, so it's pretty nice out there in the sun.
It really was, and if you missed it, you can go back on the streams and watch it. It's on the Central Sparks channel here on the Bears channel here on Bears Den TV. It's nearly time for action here at Edgbaston. We're nearly ready to go, so we're going to send you pitch side, and very soon you're going to hear the dulcet tones even, not the toins, the tones even of Mr. Adam Bridge.
Yeah, welcome to Edgbaston for the third home game then of this Bears T20 campaign. Notts Outlaws, the visitors tonight, and they look to bounce back the Bears from defeat last night over in Derby. First defeat of the campaign. The record at the moment, 4 wins and just 1 defeat so far. They'll look to put that right tonight against the side. Well, it's always an intriguing encounter between these two teams. They did the double over them last season, of course, scoring that magnificent 261 for 2 at Trent Bridge. And then, of course, we had a rain-affected game here where the Bears sneaked home and managed to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat on that occasion. A couple of bits of team news for you. No change for the Bears from the side which played last night. So, as we know, it means Moeen Ali will lead the team. No place again for Rob Yates, despite his terrific start to the campaign. Just too much quality available in that Bears squad right now. And, of course, Nottinghamshire, the Outlaws, make a couple of changes after a chastening defeat against Worcester. Lyndon James is replaced by Calvin Harrison, and Jake Ball back in the side tonight. He's replacing Colin McCurr, the on loan quickie who has been featuring from Surrey, of course. So there's Mo leading out the Bears, and the crowd starting to fill up a Saturday night in the sunshine at Edgbaston. And it's been an intriguing afternoon already. Victory here for the Sparks, and the Bears make it a terrific double. That's the question. And alongside me to start things off this evening, no surprise, Liam Norwell. He's come back for a second stint after he enjoyed himself so much the other night.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you back. You were good luck on Monday night, so I think there's no harm in having you back a second time.
Let's hope we go again. Like I said, bounce back from last night, and you're going to lose one here or there, aren't you? So 2 great teams tonight. Notts probably haven't performed how they wanted to so far in this tournament, and hopefully for us they continue in that vein.
A different wicket, of course, than what we played on Monday night. It's already in use by the Sparks today. Gives us a short boundary to the Hollies as well on this near side. It's going to be Dan Mosley to open the bowling then. So they've stuck conventionally with a quickie, Brooks generally throughout this campaign, but Dan's doing the stuff at the moment.
Oh, he was superb on Monday, wasn't he, here? So I think just keep his momentum going, and maybe just probably not what Notts were expecting, probably expecting to face Henry up top, so maybe just a bit of a tactics, try and get in the heads a little bit, and Dan will fly through the over and try and get out of here as quickly as possible.
And Joe Clark will be taking strike. Alex Hales, of course, at the other end for the Outlaws, and Clark immediately gets off the mark to the edge of the circle. Just going to be 1. And the Outlaws off and running then. It brings Alex Hales on to strike. I mean, there's not much to say about Alex Hales, is there? 71 last night from 35 balls in that defeat against Worcester. Already scored 201 runs this season, averaging over 50 in the competition. And a dangerous man, to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. There's not much he hasn't done on a cricket pitch in T20. And it might be Dan Mousley opening the bowling this end to the big boundary to try and just take an option away from Hales, take a slog sweep out of it, because it's such a long boundary out there.
Well, he is such a dangerous batsman. He's going to get off the mark. Craig Miles doing the fielding, so he's off and running. Is Alex Hales, and his record against the Bears, not the best. Aaron Villas is alongside us to provide the statistics. You were telling us before, Aaron, not the best record at all.
It's not the best record at all, Adam. No, in fact, it's his second worst average against any North Group opponents. Only his average against Northants is worse. So, from that perspective, maybe advantage Bears.
Well, let's not speak too soon. You never know. He's in such fine form at the moment. Is Hales 2 without loss then, and Danny's getting through this first over fairly swiftly. And like you said, Liam, before we know it, 5 balls gone, just 2 on the board.
And that's probably one of the reasons he's open, just to fly through the overs, get out the power play as quickly as possible, and just rush the batsman.
We saw last night 7 bowlers used, and they didn't even need Moeen Ali. And the overs completed, just 3 on the board, so a really good start from the Bears. Hales is off the mark with 1. Clark has got 2 and has kept the strike for the start of the second over. And that means I think we're going to see Henry Brooks, who's coming in to dry those hands. It's been up to around 21, 22 degrees today, so it will cool down nicely now, but a little bit sweaty out there. And I mean, Henry, in the last couple of games, they've tried to have a little go at him, haven't they? Particularly last night towards the end as well. They can chipping runs left, right and centre with our death bowling last night.
Yeah, you know, it's T20, it happens. That's the sport, unfortunately. But he's young. He's been around for a long time now, and he's one of the best white ball bowlers in the country, in my opinion. Look, it happens sometimes. You can get a death over wrong. I did it last year in 50 over cup. You know, I got a death over wrong. You can go into the 20s, but the biggest thing is how you bounce back from that. And tonight will show what he's made of.
51 T20 wickets to his name for Henry Brooks, and he's going for runs to start with here. Not timed particularly well. It's going to be cut off on the boundary edge on this occasion by Maxwell, but they'll get back for 2. 5 without loss. Clark gets himself onto 4. And in terms of bowling at these 2 with that big boundary out on the offside, what would you be thinking here for Henry?
Well, with the field they've got, with a deep square leg, he can't go too wide on the offside, because although it's a big boundary, it's still only 1 man out down at 3rd man.
Onto the pads this time.
So he's got to hit the top of the stumps as hard as he can with this field to try and bring a drag to square leg in or a run down to 3rd man. Any width, yeah, it's a big boundary, but batters aren't going to be fussed by a bit of width, are they? And he's got to just hit a hard length, like I said, top of the stumps, hard length. Anything forward is going to be an easy one to the leg side for 2 batters of this quality. So he's just got to run in and hit as hard as he can. It might be predictable, but on these hybrid pitches, back of the length does tend to fly through a bit quicker.
Yeah, it is a 5-4 split, but that leg side looks incredibly unprotected, and Hales has gone. And Henry Brooks has done his job. And Alex Hales' dreadful run against the Bears continues. He's bowled by Henry Brooks. And the Outlaws have lost their first wicket, and what a wicket to lose. Terrific delivery from Henry Brooks. And Hales is on his way for 1, bowled by Brooks. And 5, in fact, 6 is on the board for the Outlaws. They are 6 for 1 in the second over.
Looked like a lovely ball, to be fair. Just watching it on replay now. So it just comes back off the seam and flicks the top of the stumps, and that's the length we were just saying about hitting the pitch as hard as possible, hitting the top of the stumps and making the batsman play a good shot. And you're not really going to do a huge amount of that ball there. And like I said, today will prove what Henry's made of, coming back from last night, that over, and he's already shown he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's got a good bit about him to start as well as he has.
Yeah, nipped in nicely there, didn't it? It's a lovely ball from Henry. Colin Munro's the new batsman, the New Zealand international.
They just keep coming at you, this batman, don't they?
There's plenty of quality on show. 36 years of age now, Munro. Played at international T20 since February 2020.
Is that out of choice to go to franchise leagues, or is that out of...
I think at the age of 36 it kind of reached that point. So many talented New Zealanders, aren't there, in this format of the game. He'll face up first of all from Henry Brooks, the left-hander, and it's a wide ball from Henry. That probably just about crossed that blue line, didn't it?
Yeah, probably just on the angle from over, just taking it across. But on these hybrid pitches, it's still a pretty fresh pitch. That's 40 overs from a Sparks game. So you do, when they're fresh, get a little bit of zip from back of length. That was a bit too full, that last one, but when you hit back of length, top of stump length, you will get a little bit of zip. So hopefully Henry can just exploit that now, like he did with the ball to Hales.
This wicket we're using today a little away from the one we used on Monday for the game against Lancashire, and 3 strips away is a covered pitch as well. That's clearly the test match pitch, because looking it's right down the middle, perfect line. So that one will be in use, of course, in just under a couple of weeks' time here, when the Aussies come to town and the Ashes get underway. Chris Woakes included in that 16 for the first 2 tests, despite not playing against Ireland. Here's Henry Brooks then. Good over so far, just 3 off it, and the wicket of Alex Hales. Shoveled into the leg side by Munro for a single. Maxwell again doing the fielding. I suppose the question now is, do you give another over to Dan, or do you maybe give Maxwell one? Because I mean, we have seen kind of 7 different bowlers bowling the opening 7 overs of some of the T20 games.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Dan or Maxwell. Now you've got a right hand, left hand. Is not, you've always got a short boundary, so you might actually see Craig Miles come into play just to try and protect both sides instead of a spinner who can just bowl with a big boundary to 2 right-handers.
Last ball of the second over from Henry Brooks, and it's a dot ball to finish, just 4 off the over, 8 for 1 then at the end of the second over. The man out Hales, and a huge wicket, and Aaron, that's done nothing for his averages against the Bears, hasn't it?
It certainly hasn't, but I suppose some respite for the Notts fans tuning in for tonight. If you look at Colin Munro's average in first innings, it's 34 compared to 26 when he bats second, so he is actually someone who's better in the first innings. And when you look at his career scoring rates, 30% of his runs have come from 6s. This guy hits a long ball.
He's going to need to if he's going to whack someone. He's certainly facing down the far end on the leg side, but this time he has got the short boundary off his pads, and it's Dan who's going to continue at the far end. 3 runs from his first over. Just darting the ball in. It was interesting talking to him after the game against Lancashire. So he wasn't getting too much grip, but he just giving that a bit more flight. He's not bowling as flat as he was against Lancashire, I don't think.
No, not so far. And that might just be a ploy now to try and just tempt Munro to go to that short boundary, just give him a little bit more air, and then you probably see him dart it into Clark.
8 for 1, the Outlaws.
As we say that, he darts it in.
He did, and he almost got through Munro that time, in towards the pads. Did it brilliantly, and again, that's the variation, isn't it? He says he spent the winter just bowling and bowling and bowling, just to try and bring that facet to his game, because I think he's fairly honest, and he saw some of the batsmen that were coming into this Bears squad, and he said, if I want to play, having 2 facets is going to be a key part.
Massively, and he's improved so much in the last 18 months. He's a proper cricket badger. He loves Warwickshire, he loves the Bears, but being with the Mumbai Emirates during the winter, his game completely changed, and he came back such a good cricketer.
4th ball of the over. I think it'll only be 1. Could possibly have pushed for a second, but would have been too tight. And the scoreboard ticks round to 9 for 1. Munro is on to 2 now. It brings Joe Clark on to strike. He's on 4. Scored 25 from 16 balls last night in that defeat against Worcester, who topped the table in the north right now. A couple of ex-Bears in Pollock and Hose, not doing too badly. Hose in particular. And then again, a bowl was onto the pads this time of Clark, and again, I think Clark's keen for a second, but Munro not interested. Just 1 to the total, and so far, with 1 ball left of this 3rd over, it's a really good start.
It's a superb start, isn't it? Even touch wood, it doesn't. Even if this ball goes to a boundary, it's still a superb start to keep a team like Notts to well, at the moment 3.5.
He's in, and there's no run, almost sneaking under the bat once more, and that's the end of the 3rd over with the score 10 for 1. We appear to be breaking convention here. Not only did we have a second over from the far end for Dan Mosley, but now we've got Henry Brooks bowling a second over as well. This is different captaincy from Mo than what we've seen in the opening few games.
This is almost traditional cricket going on here. But after Henry's first over, why wouldn't you give him another one? Bowled lovely length, good pace.
And it's Joe Clark who will face up then to the start of the 4th over. 10 for 1 then the Outlaws. Not had the best of starts to their campaign this year, but such a dangerous team, and we've talked so often about this competition being about momentum. It's just about getting yourself going. I mean, when you think how Derbyshire hadn't had the best of starts, had they, and yet managed to claw the victory last night.
Oh, exactly, and I think I read somewhere online the other day that Hampshire lost their first 4 last year and then won the competition. So it's not about how you start, it's how you finish, and they're such a dangerous team. Joe Clark, who's on strike at the moment, everyone knows his qualities.
Certainly do. Tempted ramp though, and he makes no contact, and you're brave doing that to Henry Brooks early on. Yeah, Derbyshire was only their 2nd win last night, that victory, and Notts only a couple of wins as well, but already minus 0.45 in terms of their run rate, and that takes a lot of bringing back that. And I mean, Worcester absolutely flying, as we say, at the head of the table.
But we were 4 from 4 one day ago,
yeah.
you know, so everything changes quickly as Henry comes in again.
Yeah, Liam putting the positive spin on everything as plenty of bat on that from Clark, but straight to Maxwell, really hammered that. And again, there's no run, and that's 3 dot balls.
And it's 3 balls of just that hard, heavy length, top of the stumps. I can't say the word we used to describe it, but kind of into the mid-drift. It's just good, smart bowling from Henry. He's not trying anything different. This is working well. Until he's hit off this length, he just needs to keep repeating and repeating. If Clark picks him up into the hollies with a very good shot, fair play to him. But at the moment, this length is superb bowling from Henry.
At this point as well, doesn't this become an action ball after 3 dots? You expect something to happen.
There you go.
And they get themselves a run as it goes squirted down to deep square leg. Just the one off the over so far, 11 for 1. 2 balls remaining. And Henry Brooks starting beautifully here for the Bears. The shadows just starting to lengthen a little. As I say, it's been a glorious day at Edgbaston. Plenty of young junior Bears out and about today as well. Who we were chatting to with Hassan Ali over in the junior zone earlier on. Beautiful blue skies still, and well, whoever picked this period to play blast cricket did very well. They must have hung the seaweed up and decided it was going to be a good time. And talking of good times, Munro has decided to have his first of the afternoon or evening. That's a terrific 6. Well, we were warned a moment ago from Aaron over in our stats corner how he likes to hit big 6s, and he's hit his first. And they're on to 17 for 1. Just advanced down the wicket there, Liam.
It's a shot of the highest quality. Look, Henry has been bowling a superb length, and he's made the batsman have to run at him and play quite a audacious shot over extra cover. Like, if a batsman's doing that, you've got to take your hat off to him sometimes.
How will Henry Brooks respond? He just tucks him up for room this time. Still gets it away round the corner for a single though. And that's the end of the over. 18 for 1 then with 4 overs gone. So run rate of 4.5 per over as things stand. And there is the Carling best seats in the house. You can't ask for a better spot right on the boundary edge near the greenkeepers hangout area and their shed. If you fancy sitting in those Carling best seats at the house at our next game on Wednesday night, you just have to follow us on Twitter at Warwickshire County Cricket Club. Not the best of starts here for Notts, Aaron?
Certainly isn't, no. The Bears have been absolutely exceptional. As Liam said, that hard, heavy length from Henry Brooks really tucking up these Notts, well, not openers, but Notts top order for space, and in comes down for his 3rd over. Again, you're looking to just dart them in.
He's done just that, squirted away. Again, Maxwell on the edge with a quick throw in. Really well fielded by Glenn Maxwell on that occasion. And there's no run. Munro on 9, Clark on 6, 18 for 1 into the 5th over. And mostly again from the far end. Again, it's into the pads of Munro, just nicks a single. And all of a sudden, Moses nearly threw 3 overs here.
I'm not sure many captains would have given him the 3rd here, but you feel like something's going to happen this over. There's going to be a big shot, there's going to be a chance. Something is building. Notts can't just keep ticking over at 4 and over. They've got to try something here, so you feel like Clark and Munro are going to have to take a risk.
Yeah, Clark with just 6 off of 12 so far, and that was aerial for part of its journey into the covers, and well fielded in the end that time. Was that Sam Hain?
That was Sam Hain, yeah.
Wasn't short, too far short of him. So again, Clark looking to force the pace. This time he goes down the ground, and it's to the right of Moeen Ali and all the way to the boundary ropes for 4. And it's a good shot from Joe Clark.
Yeah, it's a good shot. Look, if you're getting hit back through the V and you're making the batsman have to move around their crease and adapt to what you're bowling, yeah, he's gone for 4, but it's still nice bowling from Dan, and they're going out under 5 and over, so now just needs to make sure he finishes off this over with a couple of singles, a dot and a single, and keep the Bears right on top.
23 for 1, and he's beaten Clark outside the off stump. Good keeping again from Alex Davis, back in the vice-captain role, of course. Now Mo's arrived.
I think David actually needs quite a bit of credit for the pace Dan's bowling in and how easy he's making it look. That's a great shot.
Lovely pick-up from Clark through the covers, over the top for 4, all the way to the boundary rope. And 27 for 1 then, 5 overs gone. 1 more left in the power play. And again, winning that power play so important. I know they've not lost wickets, but the runs are quite low for a Notts side, aren't they?
They are, and I think maybe Dan's pace ended up working against him there. Joe Clark just opened himself up, almost used the pace of the ball just to get it over point. It's a lovely shot, and a shot of a player of Joe Clark's class and calibre. Now we've got a change in Craig Miles coming in, so our first bowling change of the evening. And again, he's just going to have to try and hit that hard, heavy length and make the batsman hit him off it like Monroe did to Henry in that last over. But you would take this every day of the week, 5 overs in, a dangerous batting lineup only going at 5.5 and over. Obviously we'd like a couple more wickets, but you're always going to take Notts ticking along at 5.5 and over.
Yeah, 1 for 28 for Craig last night in that game against Derbyshire. Got 9 wickets so far though in the competition this season, ticking along very nicely. Last over the power play then, and again that's clubbed to the leg side, not quite the 6 that Monroe was after, but it's another boundary for the Outlaws, and not the best of welcomes to the attack for Craig Miles there from Monroe. Really nice shot though.
Really nice shot, and I think Monroe's just backed the fact that Craig's first ball is going to hit hard length like most bowlers are going to try and do. Craig's, I think, seen him come and try to cramp him, but it's a really good shot, and now the pressure's right on Craig to bring this over back. First boundary, first ball is always difficult for a bowler.
31 for 1 then. That's short pulled, and again same spot, not quite as aerial this time, but equally as brutal. And 4 more to Monroe, finds his way to the boundary, and just asking questions here of Craig Miles and the length he's trying to bowl.
Yeah, definitely, and that's smart batting. He's run it in the ball before, and then there he sat right deep in his crease. Probably not a dissimilar length ball, but he sat deep and he's pulled it straight through mid-wicket, and it's prompted a change in the field, so we've now gone deep square leg and a deep mid-wicket, so Craig's going to have to keep bowling that line to bowl to his protection.
Yeah, fine leg and third man both up inside the circle now for Craig Miles. 4 balls to come of the power play, a bit more respectable. 35 for 1 for the Outlaws. Again, this time a bit fuller of length on the pads once more. Only going to be a single though, and the opportunity to try and turn that into a 2, but it's good fielding. Jake Lintop doing the hard work that time. Got a good arm on him.
And that will just settle Craig down a little bit, just one off it, and just drop the heart rate a little bit. But now he's got Joe Clark, and he's gone for the same field, so risky for short boundary to aim to bowl so tight, but it's been what's been working for Henry, so he's got a hard length and make sure Joe has to play a good shot.
Quite loopy at times as he starts his run up, and he's just got the better of Lintop at point, and that's all the way for 4. It's turning into an expensive over for the Bears.
Yeah, it's definitely not the way the Bears will want to finish the power play after being so dominant so far, but with this field, any width is a gimme to a player of Joe Clark's class and calibre, like I said, and it's not that wide. It's probably only 5th stump, but because of the field, he's given himself a bit of room, and he knows anything that beats the infield is going to run away on this glorious outfield.
Yeah, he used his feet very well. 40 for 1 then, 2 to come in the power play. That's better. Oof. Not sure where he's caught him there, if it was anywhere near, and I think a bit of a moan and a kick of the ball back there from Joe Clark, and I'm pretty sure the umpires will have something to say about that. And certainly down in the sound tent they have added to the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure that response warranted what a little tap. Craig Miles basically passed it to him. I'm not sure it quite warranted that, but one person you don't want to have a word with and get fired up is Joe Clark. I've played against him enough now to know you keep quiet and you don't say a word to him. So when he's fired up, he's a different level.
Robert White and Tom Lungley, by the way, are our umpires today. Clark drives that off the full toss, and it brings the power play to a close. 40 for 1 then, with Clark on 18 and Monroe on 19. And all in all, at the end of that power play, Liam, you'd be happy to be a Bear, I feel.
Yeah, definitely happy to be a Bear, and I think that's some good bottle there shown by Craig to go dot to finish off that over after 3 falls in his first 4 balls. So, like, good head and shoulders, fair play to Craig for holding his bottle there, and yeah, definitely you're taking that power play every day of the week. You'd always want more wickets, but to keep a team like Notts at what, they're just under 7s now. So you'd always take that every day of the week, and now we're going Maxwell. I thought it might go straight to Danny Briggs, but now the spinners can get to work.
What do you make of that decision?
I think it's probably because they want Maxwell bowling to the longer boundary, and then you have your more technically, he'll explain a lot of cricket, but your frontline spinners and Jake and Danny to be able to rotate with the shorter boundary. That's my guess.
Here comes Maxwell from the far end then to start the first over outside the power play. 40 for 1. And straight away just cramping Munro up for a little bit of room. But he still manages to force it away and gets the single. 41 for 1. Munro on to 20. Clark on 18. Run rate creeping up to 6.7 now for the Outlaws. Slightly better. Munro, of course, as we say, has played international cricket for New Zealand, so he's no fool, and we all know what Joe Clark can do as he works that into the leg side. This time they will again just settle for the single. Looks like a big outfield, but it's very hard unless you kind of time it just right. Hard to turn those ones into 2s.
Definitely so, and I think we might see Munro take a risk here to go into the shorter boundary to try and just stop Warwickshire, Birmingham be able to bowl from one end.
Here's Maxwell in again, and he almost fed it to him, really, didn't he?
Yeah, it's not exactly what Glenn would have wanted there. He's just a short ball into leg stump, which I think most left-handers at this level are going to put away. But something is going to happen this over. You've got to be left-handed to the short boundary, and they've got to up the run rate. So there's always going to be something from this over, and if we can now close it out with 2-3 singles, no more boundaries, we'll still take that as a win.
Second maximum for Munro. This time he cuts it away, makes a bit of room. It was only going to be 1, but it's gone through the arms of Craig Miles, who's not had the best of 5 or 10 minutes here. Unlike him as well.
Yeah, very unlike him. He's normally one of our best fielders, hence why he's out in the ring. Like, we're a very good team of fielders, and we have quite specific positions for players, all mapped out on the board downstairs. So it's quite unlike him for a mistake like that.
50's up, 52 for 1 then in the 7th over. Only a dot ball. 12 off the over from Maxwell. 1 more ball to come. At which point Liam will leave us. He will be back later, and that one's hoiked in the air, and too much on that. It's another 6 for Munro. He had the room and he took a full advantage of it, and it's 6 more on the board for the Outlaws. 58 for 1 then. Munro on to 36. Clark is on 19 after 7 overs. And a reminder, you can collect your favourite Bears players at fancraze.com if you would like to. Saw some of those being dished out to the junior Bears earlier on today. So 7 overs gone, 58 for 1. Liam's departed, and the Bears women's captain Marie Kelly's alongside. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, we're good actually. You?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Enjoy the power play?
Yeah, it's all right, wasn't it? I felt like Noel was just saying there, I felt like something was going to happen over, but it's kind of fallen on Notts' favour.
Yeah, it has. Munro on to 36, looking very dangerous. Clark on 19. Danny Briggs is into the attack from the pavilion end, and immediately on the money. No great surprise really that Briggs is straight at it. 8 wickets so far in this T20 campaign. He's in again and bowling to Clark this time, who's gone big and he's gone long, and he's gone all the way to the boundary for 6. And now Clark getting on the big hitting action. 64 for 1 now. Clark on to 25. And this is what Notts can do, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think Clark was just looking a little bit frustrated there. Didn't seem to get as many away as he wanted to in the power play, but
as you say, gives it a whack, doesn't he?
Yeah, he got hold of that one, didn't he, over mid-off?
Certainly did. Gets a single. Bringing Munro on to strike. 65 for 1 now. So changing the field then, with the left armour bowling to the left-hander. 7 already off the first 3 balls of this over from Danny Briggs. Just looking at where they've position the fielders out, and the leg side is well protected for sure. And I don't think that's going to give any protection from Munro. It's another huge 6. He moves on to 42.
Seeing it well, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so. Just seemed to be waiting for that one from Danny Briggs and launched it over the ropes. Munro in fine fettle sets himself, and yeah, it's a lovely shot. Again, fairly effortless. 71 for 1. That was a big call from Munro to send Joe Clark back, who'd started scampering down. And this big hitting, there's not too much you can do about it apart from just keep plugging away and trying to take wickets, is there? Briggs is in, short, turn that one round the corner. It's only going to be a single. Now they're going to make this into a 2. Quick turn from Munro. 15 off the over in the end from Danny Briggs. 73 for 1 is the score. And Munro making real strides, Marie.
Absolutely. I think Birmingham Bears need to just keep varying their pace here, because obviously he's going very hard at the ball. You just got to hope that he kind of plugs one out to the fielder, doesn't quite get hold of one of them. But that's what Briggs does very well, so hopefully he'll get the breakthrough.
We're going to see Moeen Ali have a bowl. Didn't see him last night. I think at one point I may be wrong, Aaron might be able to tell us, but I'm sure he said he wasn't thinking he overly needed to bowl in T20 or ODI cricket too much.
Here we are, home crowds, Sparkhill's very own Moeen Munir Ali. And just to give you some stats actually about Moeen Ali against Notts, 15 wickets in 13 games against the Outlaws, so he's got a very good record, also with the bat as well, as we shall discuss in due course.
He's got his Phoenix bright orange boots, and he's cut away for 4, first ball, again by Clark. So
commentator's curse there.
Yeah, Aaron's given him the big build up there, and it's not quite delivered in this occasion. 77 for 1 then, and off and running Moeen from the Birmingham ends. Clark on to 30, Munro on 44. Good progress from the Outlaws. Cut away again. This time that is going to be cut off on the boundary rope. There's only going to be a single. Jake Lintop doing the work this time on that short boundary. And now Munro will face Moeen. Fresh with that IPL trophy under his arm, of course. First game last night. But he's here now, captaining the side, wearing that number 1 on his back. Bit of room Munro gives himself, and there's no run. It's the experience of Mo that will help here, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's just so calm, cool and collected, isn't he? So he'll stay level-headed here, I'm sure.
Munro again tried to continue with the assault. That would have been a brutal shot if he'd made a decent connection then, but Mo ties him up this time. And it's not non-shaven headed Mo, I see as well. He's gone back to a lovely full head of hair there. 78 for 1. Has played back down the wicket, and again he's recovered really nicely after that opening boundary, hasn't he?
Absolutely. This will be a good test here with him get out the over, whether Munro can get on top of him.
Lee again in from the Birmingham end, just going to get a single to finish the over.
It's very well bowled.
Well, considering what he conceded early on, to only go for 6, it's quite impressive. 9 overs gone, 79 for 1 as things stand. And well, we've got half the crowd in shade and half of it in sunshine. There's plenty of painted faces out there today. I think we might see you with a painted face today, actually, when you arrived.
Oh no, absolutely
Face
not.
painters were there, not a little butterfly.
I had the sun cream on, I was getting a nice tan. Don't want to ruin that.
Plenty of bouncing around and singing going on.
Yeah, it's a good crowding, isn't it?
Yeah, the Brains Trust have gathered. Moeen Ali, Jake Lintop.
I was going to say, I want to see Jake Lintop come on. I thought,
Glenn Maxwell. Well, Lintop's walked away again, so
who are they going with here?
I was going to say, coming charging in from the boundary rope, we are going to see the introduction, it would appear, of Ed Barnard. So we're going for a bit of pace then.
Yeah,
they have just had a bit of a field day for the last few overs.
Yeah, they've enjoyed the spin, haven't they, so far? So hopefully Barnard can get the breakthrough, disrupt some of this momentum that Clark and Munro have just built up.
First bowler Edgbaston in the T20 as well, as a Bear, of course. And he's in, and that's full. And that's been given the treatment, the full treatment from Colin Munro. Yet another 6 to the boundary ropes, and it brings up his 50 off just 27 balls, 5 6s and 3 4s. That's brutal hitting.
Seeing it very well, isn't he?
He certainly is. That's what was that stat you gave us at the start about the percentage of 6s he hits?
It was 30%. I think he's looking to increase that tonight.
Yeah, I think
Must
he
have
is
heard
indeed.
you.
That's terrific stuff from Monroe, seeing the ball like an absolute beach ball out there right now. Barnard a little bit shorter this time. Hoiked into the leg side, but only for a single.
Seems to be the fuller length deliveries are getting punished here, and that kind of back of a length into the pitch a little bit more, tucking them up a little bit more for room seems to be a little bit more effective.
I was going to say anything that tends to be in the slot is getting the treatment, which is probably no great surprise. And that's the thing, Hales goes and Munro comes in, so there's that quality. It's a similar issue obviously when you're facing the Bears as well, with the quality that keeps coming in the middle order.
Yeah, exactly. We were just talking about that on Bears Den TV, that you've just got the licence when you've got that many batters coming in after you. Just gives these guys up top the freedom to just go hard at it.
86 for 1 then. Long conversation between Barnard and Moeen Ali as he bowls now to the right-handed Clark. Bit of room outside the off stump, too much.
Oh, that looked harsh.
According to the umpire. I don't. This is the first time I think I've encountered Tom Lungley, the umpire. I don't remember seeing him here last year.
No, I've not either.
And you're laughing. What are you laughing for, Stato Man?
I've seen him in the Championship. There was a pretty, let's just say, controversial decision to give Michael Jones out in the Drome Glamorgan game.
Ah, okay.
Oh, really?
So there we go. There's always a bit of controversy somewhere with some official, but that's just going to be a single. 88 for 1 now. Brings Munro back onto strike on 52. And considering that first ball went for 6, we've only seen 3 because of the wide, of course, off the next 2 deliveries. So Barnard here as a bowler at this point, and I know you do like to turn the old arm over. What are we thinking about getting out here? If you can get out with 3 singles, or even maybe just 4 off the last 3 balls, you'd be satisfied?
Yeah, I think it's just trying to not go for a boundary hit.
Moeen will do the fielding and doing it well.
Just executing your plan. I think Barnard's looking like he's got a little bit more of a plan. The first ball just didn't really look like he had too much of a plan going on.
I don't think he knew he was bowling, did he? He was down the boundary.
To be fair, yeah.
Suddenly got the call. I mean, again, as a bowler, you're suddenly just relaxing out there and you see the 3 spinners talking, and then suddenly go, no, actually it's you, we don't fancy it. Immediately had to hit his straps. Oh dear. Well, he's just floated that up, hasn't he? Right into the slot.
I think it was a attempted slow ball. It's just gone out the park.
And he puts his head to the skies, no surprise. I'm surprised he's running in a long sleeve sweater, to be fair. It's a bit warm out there. 94
warm,
for 1. Yeah, Munro on to 58. Although he looks like he's hardly breaking sweat, Munro, at this point.
Very dealing in boundaries, isn't he?
He is. It's good currency to dealing, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's the way forward, isn't it?
You're going well with the Blaze, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going well. Thank
5
you.
wins out of 5.
Yeah, I know, smashing it.
Very impressive.
Yeah, very happy camp at the minute.
Another one from Munro straight down the ground, but just a single. Glenn Maxwell will field 16 off of Barnard's over. Score moves on to 95 for 1. Munro on 59, Clark on 32, and that's at the halfway point, so the end of the 10 overs. So we could be looking for something here around the 200 mark.
Yeah, this could be quite a big chase here, but
looks a good wicket, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the outfit's pretty quick, and they've been clearing the ropes pretty well, so anybody's game.
And how are you batting yourself, all right?
Going okay, not had the biggest of scores that I'd have liked compared to last year, but ticking along.
Giving it a biff?
Yeah, trying to.
That's all that matters, isn't it? That's all you can do.
Yeah. See ball, hit ball.
There seems to be, and again, this is not meaning to sound at all patronising, but the interest in the women's game just seems to have gone up a level again after the Commonwealth Games and after World Cup. There just seems to be a bit more of a buzz about it, and familiar names. I think that's one of the key things, isn't it? Once people start to associate with some of the women cricketers, you kind of go, oh, actually, I'm into that.
Absolutely, and I think I've said it before that once people have come to a game, you find that they always want to come back. There's never anybody that doesn't enjoy it when they're here, so it's just like getting them to the game in the first place.
And of course we've got the men's and the women's Ashes here, and Moeen turns away because he wasn't far away from getting inside their second wicket there. Terrific bit of fielding. They do scamper through for the single though. So yeah, men's Ashes and a women's Ashes game here as well at Edgbaston.
Exciting summer.
And tickets been flying out for that as well, haven't they? So
absolutely.
Should be fantastic. 96 for 1 then. And obviously we've got the 100 to come, which again I think it's just really helped the game in its entirety, hasn't it?
Definitely. It's just created a bit of more of a buzz about cricket in this country again.
You signed up yet?
I have been, yeah.
Where are you going?
Off up north.
Oh, hello.
I'm going to Northern Superchargers.
Yes, I remember messaging you saying that you're becoming a Northerner. Look at this.
I am. Got pulled in up there, so we're pretty excited to go up there. I know quite a few of the girls in that team, so.
On those Puddingy Headingley wickets.
Yeah, pretty nice Headingley wicket, isn't it?
It's not bad at the minute, actually. I saw the Yorkshire Lancashire game the other night, and there was plenty of runs being scored, that's for sure. 97 for 1. Lintot's in again. That's got too much on it. That boundary is too short for Munro. 6 more. And that brings up the century. 103 for 1 in the 11th over. And he's on to 66 off of 33 balls, striking at 200, isn't he?
Do I say it? Do I give him the commentator's curse?
Yes,
yeah,
please.
go for it if you can.
Well, to date he's got 5 career T20 centuries.
Wow.
Okay.
And that should come as absolutely no surprise to anyone.
Yeah, no, it probably doesn't actually. Lintot's in again. Oh, he's gone for the reverse. Oh, and Davies almost got there with a catch.
He very nearly worked there with the curse.
Oh, almost had it. And he knows he's on his haunches. He did his very best to get to that. Well, when you've been conventionally clearing the ropes in the manner he has, I don't know, as a batsman, is that a clever shot to try?
I was going to say a few balls ago that Munro's been batting very cleverly and that he's just been picking the balls to go for the ropes, and then he's been getting in and out of the over very well.
Look how far across he is off stump. And again, he's picked that one away. Well, he's batting outside of off stump. He's taking his guard, and it's another 6 into the leg side. 109 for 1.
When you can play it like that, there's no need to switch hit or reverse it there.
I mean, look at his stance there on the replays. Just about his right leg is just about on leg stump, but everything else is just trying to give himself room.
That is someone who's confident in what they're doing at the minute.
14 off the over so far. Cut away. Mo's going to try and stop that. They will get 1. They'll think about 2. No, they're not going to take the second. And as we reach the end of the 11th over, the score moves on to 110 for 1.
We want to hear what you think the Outlaws make in this first innings. Cast your vote now via the app. Come you Bears!
11 overs gone then, 110 for 1. And there's the ball coming to Craig Miles again, I think, this time round. It is coming to Craig Miles.
Yep, spin doesn't seem to be working at the minute, does it?
No, as things stand, it's a bit of a tricky one as to how you manage these round. I mean, he's only got Barnard, Miles and Brooks obviously available to him in that respect. So far we've only had the one over from Danny Briggs, one from Lintott. Miles back into the attack, and he's picked up off the pads.
That is a serious shot from Munro.
4 more. Terrific shot. 77 he moves on to. 114 for 1. Clark's marooned on 33, to be fair.
Well, he hasn't had much of the strike since, what, just after the power play? He's not had much strike now. But I think when you've got someone the other end going that well, I don't think you mind it. You're happy to sit and watch.
Well, Miles has got to think about what he does here as he bowls to Munro once more. Short this time, and he tries to hook. Makes no contact. And forlorn figure, Craig Miles. 8 balls have yielded 17 runs so far for him today. Off the back of a bit of punishment he took towards the end of the innings last night. Tricky few overs here so far for Munro. As a batsman, what are you thinking now? Again, just
keep
carry
going
on.
here, yeah.
Then again, short, pulled away. This time into the ground, so it's only going to be a single.
When you've got this much of a platform now, you just keep going. He's obviously seeing it very well. Things are working out for him. Just keep going.
Yeah, obviously not scored 211 over at Trent Bridge against the Bears. In terms of that, highest score here, 193, I think it is, for 7. They managed back in, was it 2020? He's thinking, 2011. 2011, a long time ago. It was the other score that was 2020. 33 then for Clark, who, as we say, has not seen too much of the strike in the last few overs. Miles is in, and he's just thought about delicately ramping it over Davis, but that weren't happening, was it?
Nope, I think that's good from Miles, just mixing up his deliveries, gone bouncer, Yorker.
Especially when you've not had the strike for that long, and the first thing you try to do is just do a ramp.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the right option. I'm sure he'll be wanting to get in on the action and score some boundaries, but I'd be just thinking about getting Monroe back on strike here.
It's got to be the game plan as things are ticking over at the moment, isn't it? 115 for 1. 2 balls left in over 12. That's going to be a wide as well. Craig Miles, he's just having to think so much, isn't he, to try and hide the ball and keep it away from them. Just trying, as opposed to probably just trying to find a rhythm.
Yeah, well, we saw Barnard with a similar plan here to Clark, so I'm wondering if this was a kind of a matchup or an idea before the game to go wide line. Obviously got that deep backward point and a deep cover. I think Clark obviously likes it probably a little bit straighter.
Monroe striking at 200 at the moment. 39 balls for his 78. Bit of an inside edge. That'll be a single for Clark. And that'll be the end of the over, with the score moving on to 117 for 1, should I say. Monroe on 78 and Clark on 34. One more ball to come in the over, in fact.
Oh, yeah, there's a wide ball.
There was a wide, wasn't there? It's me miscounting, but, which means Monroe's on strike. I think Craig was probably hoping it was the end of the over too, to be fair. He wasn't the only one. Miles is in, short, pulled away, and it's going to yield that boundary, is it? No, that's a great stop. Superb bit of fielding by Jake Lintott. They'll come back for 2, though. That is the end of the over. Monroe's on to 80, 119 for 1. I always like to play spot the third man, the 12th man, but I think there's no problems when it's Ollie Hannon-Dolby, to be fair, is it?
It's a pretty easy spot, that, isn't it?
Yeah, as he towers above them all. We're going to see Moeen Ali back into the attack from the Birmingham end. 119 for 1, 6 runs off his first over here, Moeen.
So who have Notts got to come next?
Well, we've got Matt Montgomery to come, Mulaney, of course, Tom Moores.
Gosh, yeah.
And we haven't seen Samet yet.
I know.
Almost 40-year-old Samet. And Samet scores his average pretty good, isn't it, Aaron, against the Bears?
It is, and in terms of his overall career as well, Nottinghamshire's second leading run scorer in T20s with 4,089 runs.
Not bad, really, for some career.
Keep these two in then, it's all right.
Yeah, I think we'll stay as we are. 39 years old now, Samet Patel, still going strong. Here's Mo, 8 overs to go, 119 for 1. Just a single to start the over. What do you think they'll be looking for here? I mean, in the dressing room at this point, what are you saying?
You're just going as many as possible now. Yeah, I think obviously minimum 200 and then see where we go from there. But I think, yeah, as many on the board, especially with a batting lineup that Bears have got. You're always like, how many we're looking for.
And how does the mentality change then? So, for example, at the minute, Monroe's making all the shots and Clark's kind of just holding things down. If Monroe carries on and ends up getting out, is it then Clark's responsibility to start taking the chances, or do you just have Clark anchoring the whole innings if you can?
It depends, I guess, on who's coming in next and what they're pretty comfortable with. If somebody's used to coming in and teeing off from ball 1, then I guess you could go with that mentality. But obviously Clark's been out there for quite a while now, so he should know the pace of the wicket, etc. a little bit more, get a little bit more used to the bowlers. So yeah, he might have to take the reins. Yeah,
35 he's got off 30 balls, make that 36 off 31. He was thinking of a second, but Monroe not in the slightest bit interested. He's on 81 from 41, so that's the key contribution. 122 for 1, and when you consider that Alex Hales was out with the score on 6, so it's a 116 run partnership between these two so far, and that was with just 9 balls of this innings. God, Monroe has rocked back. I mean, he's even on his back foot. He's not quite made the top tier of the Scriven stand over there, but I mean, that's an almighty shot from Munro. And
That's
that
the back
will be,
foot as well.
Yeah, number 9 of the innings.
Just thinking as well, though, look, it's the 13th over. So it's 12th over, is it? Clark may as well go as well now. Just
yeah, no, it's 13th over, yeah. 2 balls left
over,
of
yeah,
13.
so.
Mowing it again, and he's gone once
That could
more.
be out.
That could be caught, and it is! And the catch is taken by Ed Barnard, and Munro goes with a score of 87 he's managed. And Mo has his wicket, and it's Colin Munro. 41 balls for 87, 4 fours and 9 sixes, but Barnard takes the catch, and Mo, in his second coming, has his first Bears wicket.
Well, I think we might get our answer now, whether we see what Clark does, whether he still works it round, or whether he now takes the reins and follows in Munro's footsteps.
128 for 2 then. Big wicket, big partnership though between those two. Did some damage, 122 runs in total, and it came in 11.1 overs. So that's some going for a partnership. Around about 10 and over throughout. And
Notts will be happy with that after a couple of underperformances this year so far.
yeah, they have. I mean, obviously you're over that kind of way. What's the talk been like in the camp? Is it that they do feel that they're just, I mean, they've had some key injuries to bowlers, which I think has not helped them.
No, to be honest, we've not been there that much. We've been on the road here, there and everywhere, so we're trying to watch them as much as possible on the bus to and from Durham and down to Chelmsford. And
I did see you trying to watch them on the bus and watch the Bears. And
we
watch,
had
watch,
Bears,
yeah.
we had Nottingham Forest, we had everything on. Yeah, there's a lot of Forest supporters in our team now. So.
Tom Moores is the new batsman. 110 runs so far in this campaign. What's he like against the Bears, Aaron?
I'll save it to the next ball.
Mo's in from the far end, turned into the leg side. It's going to be a single, and he's off and running.
Well, this is the stat that I wanted to actually put on air, actually. So in terms of Tom Moore's record against the Bears, it's 242 in 11 innings. However, only 39 of those have come here at Edgbaston. He averages 7.8 and strikes at 90.7, which I'm surprised they've actually gone with him as the next man in. I thought they would have gone with Montgomery.
Well, they've made that call. Clearly, I mean, he's been, as I say, fairly decent form. 110 runs, scored 41 the other night, his highest score of the season so far. And he's in, and he's going to be on strike as well. And it's Craig Miles who's coming back in. So with the new batsman in and the danger of Munro, they probably feel it's safe to put Miles back from this pavilion end. He's going to go around the wicket to the left-hander as well. 129 for 2. 7 overs remaining. Again, a couple of tight overs here, and they might keep them below 200, but
Yeah, that's what the Bears will be looking to do here, just restrict as much as possible. Drag it back where they can.
Miles with a short ball, and it's a wide ball down the leg side. Another one to the total. 130 for 2.
Miles not happy with that being given a wide.
No.
I think it did just drift down the leg side.
Very subjective. We've got a mid-off and mid-on inside the circle, so all the boundary runners are tucked away. Nothing down the ground, so we're not going to see anything of length here, are we? It's all going to be short, and there's another short ball. Moores makes no contact, there's no run. That's the plan, clearly, just looking at the field, isn't it?
Yeah, just going into the wicket here. A few change-ups in pace. Try and tuck him up, I guess, with that. We've got deep mid wicket, backward square, and a fine leg, so I imagine he'll be going sort of at his body here into his hip. Not giving him any room.
Run rate just shy of 10, 9.9 as things stand. Miles in again to Moores.
Exactly there.
Probably was on the hip, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's nailed that.
It's a little bit uncomfortable. There's a leg bye for the total, 131 for 2. Called that very well.
Oh, it's like I just know cricket really
It's
well.
amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Anyone would think you were born with a bat in your hand.
I think I've captained a lot, so I always try and think what would I be trying to do here? What should they do?
Oh, and you won the county competition with the Bears again this year,
We
didn't
did, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of it was cut short, but we got straight through to finals day, as everything else was rained off. And then two pretty dominating performances on finals day, so yeah, pretty happy.
You played well in that, didn't you, at the final?
Yeah, had a good. It was a bit. Obviously, there'd been a lot of rain around, so it was a bit. The wicket was quite wet, quite slow bowling we were facing. So I was like, wasn't a day to be as aggressive as I would normally like to, but tried to play a bit smarter and just get the win.
132 for 2, 3 balls left in this, the 14th over. Clark on 37, Moores on 1. The momentum just slowed slightly. Only 4 have been added since Munro's departure in the last over. This is more like it. 128 for 2. Miles is in again. Moores, it's into the wicket, and he's also into the ground with his shot. Another 1 to the total. This is just what the Bears want, isn't it?
Absolutely. They just need to try and get this run rate down now. If they can get it below 9s, that gives them just a little bit easier. I think just getting over 200 is just a bit more of a mental battle, isn't it?
I think we were talking before the Lancashire game about the ridiculous stats about how many times the Bears prior to the last few years have got over 200, and it was something like 8, and they've done as many in the last kind of 2 seasons, I think. The ability to get over 200 has just become much more common, and that's a good shot from Clark. There's a full toss from Miles, just lost his line and length a little bit on that delivery to the right-hander, and it's another boundary that just releases the pressure a little.
Yeah, I think this will be a crucial ball here to try and close out. Just gained a bit of momentum and then just let it slip away there.
Full toss bordering on being a wide as well. So it was always going to get the treatment from Clark. Just looking at that replay, it was right on the edge of the wide lines. And he moves on to 41, so into the 40s for Clark. And that's a big shot to the leg side, and it's 6 runs. It doesn't have to be that huge. It was fairly flat, and it's gone all the way for 6. And Clark moves on to 47, not on 143 for 2. And at this point, we're going to say ta-ta to you. You can go and get yourself ready to be on camera, but we'll speak to you again in the second innings, of course. That's Marie Kelly, the Bears captain, who's been with us here on Bears Den TV. She'll be back with Artif during the mid-innings break. 143 for 2 then. Ian Norwell's coming back alongside, and Moeen Ali, the skipper, has got the ball in hand once more. The wicket taker, of course, grabbing Munro. Big players take big wickets. 143 for 2, 6 overs to go. Short into the leg side, 6 runs from Moores. Well, he saw that well. He's taken his time to settle in, and with that short boundary, easy pickings.
I think that's why they've gone for Moores, to keep right hand, left hand, always have a short boundary. And after dragging it back really nicely for about 8 balls, the last 3 have just got knocked straight back into it, haven't they?
Cuts Moeen away, just for a single. 1 more to the total, brings the 150 up. 150 for 2. Clark on strike on 47, Moores on 9. Clark heading for another 50. How many 50s does he have in T20, do we know? I'll let you think about that for a minute while I'm posing you those silly questions, but he's on the brink of one here on 47. Moeen Ali in again. He's gone big, straight down the ground. That one's very big, and it's over the ropes for 6, and he has his 50. He moves on to 53. Joe Clark from 35 balls, 3 6s and 5 4s to his name.
Yeah, and that will be his 24th career 50 in the format, and to be honest, he's batted incredibly well, hasn't he? Let's face it, he's got a very good record against the Bears, usually strikes at around about 155, so no surprises, well batted.
He's comfortably on to his 50 and adding to it now with another single. 157 for 2.
I think it's fair to say since the power play it's been all Notts, so Notts were 40 at the end of the power play, so we're looking at nearly 120 runs in the last 9 overs, so it's definitely been all Notts. Bears are desperate for 2 or 3 wickets just to pull the brakes on it.
Yeah, they certainly are. 2 to come in this over for Moeen. That's cut away again. It's going to be a single, and I was surprised to see him with the ball in hand, but the skipper deciding that it was what was needed today. Only seen 1 over from Danny Briggs, haven't we? 1 from Jake Lindhart too.
Both bowled to the shorter boundary and both got a bit mum-road, but he was in fine form, wasn't he?
Last ball of Moeen's 3rd over. It's a bit flat, it's just going to be 1 bounce. Just for a moment you wondered if it might carry, but Just a single, and that's the end of the over. 15 gone, 159 for 2 as things stand, with Clark on 55 and Moores on 10. And well,
I think we've got Jake coming back on, and he's rubbing his hand in the dirt, or is he just part of a meeting? So
that's the question.
I think we're going Lintop to the small boundary, probably.
We may not be happy with the way things are going, but certainly the kids are having a good time out there in the crowd, in the sunshine.
It's a really good crowd again for a Saturday. The Hollies is looking really good. For a Saturday evening, you can't ask for much more. Obviously, a lot of club cricket going to be played today, so probably minimises the crowd a little bit. But, I mean, for a turnout on a Saturday evening, you really can't ask for much more.
Jake Lintop is returning, 15 off that first over from him earlier, and Jake not quite kind of hitting his straps so far in this campaign all over, really, is he?
He had a really good game against Lancs, and then apart from that, he's not bowled as well as he would like to, but he's such a good cricketer, and he's worked so hard to get here. You know he's going to bring it back.
Yeah, well,
and he starts really well there.
You saw how clever he was when he got de Grand home, didn't he? It was the thinking man's wicket. He's very good at teeing them up, and then 2 or 3 balls later, you tend to get the reward. But again, because of the options that they've got, he was a banker to always bowl his 4 overs, wasn't he? But we're just not seeing that in this set of games so far for the Bears.
That might be why he hasn't got the rhythm he's had the last few years, because he's not bowling him the same amount of overs. It could be as simple as that. He hasn't quite found his stride because of it. That's well bowled. Watch Moores go and
tucked
follow
him up, didn't he? Really nice from Jake Lintop. Always key with the celebrations. I mean, I think Hassan Ali is kind of pushing him for the in the celebration stakes when he takes a wicket.
I'm not sure anyone's quite got Hassan covered. That's a very good shot.
Yeah,
very quick on his feet. Used his crease really well. Got back and well, it's gone like a tracer bullet through deep mid wicket. Neither man had a chance, and is what Jake has to bowl. He's got to bowl the wrong ends of the sliders into his pads to the big boundary, but Moores has played a very good shot there and used Jake's tactics against him, and now Jake's probably going to have to try and change it up and to combat what Moores has just done there, and you can see he's now changing his field. So
is it a bit short?
Maybe fractionally, but he's got to, with this field, he's got to bowl that kind of flatter length.
It's well fielded that time by Craig Miles. Restricts them to a single. 165 for 2.
Now this will be the interesting one, whether he gives any air to Clark going to the short boundary. I'd imagine he's going to try and go sliders straight across him, but he's got the field set to be hit to cow corner, so we'll have to wait and see what he comes up with.
Does give it a bit of air, and he beats him by giving it a bit of air, doesn't he?
He does. It's brave bowling. It's very brave bowling, but this is why he's so good, because he picks the right option more times than not. And not many bowlers, I think, had given air to the short boundary there.
And he has only gone for 6 off this over so far. So actually, if he can get out here, it could be a really good over.
That's an incredible shot.
Carved in the air, and it's all the way for 6. Just waited for it, didn't he?
That's quite incredible shot. There's no pace on that at all. He's had to do everything there, Joe Clark. Jake's, like I said, he's given him a bit of air, and he's backed. He's basically almost baseballed it. It's flat batted, and he's had great all speed there, and it's cleared by a long way as well.
Yeah,
but he looks like he's done himself a bit of a mischief. He went down his haunches a little bit. He's now bending over a little bit. And
he looks that way, doesn't
he? You never wish injury on someone, but if he has just pulled something, it's not the worst thing for the Bears.
I wondered if he'd done it on that ball, or maybe he did it a little bit on the ball before.
Yeah.
Because he tried to hoik that everywhere, didn't he?
Yeah, he's moving quite gingerly now, and he's hands on knees again.
Dan Mosley coming to the attack again. He's bowled 3 overs for 14, so he's going to finish up here from the far end. 171 for 2, 62 for Clark, 15 for Moores, 4 overs remaining.
This is interesting to stay over the wicket to Moores. He's obviously got, with this field of a deep point and almost a third man, which you don't really see for this when he's got to be bowling just arm balls across him, because anything on leg stump here is almost a free hit with no deep square. So you'd imagine it's going to be quick arm balls across him.
Mosley in. It's almost a bit of a medium pacer, isn't it? And it's a wide.
That is a medium pace. That's not spin.
Yeah. Moores is on strike on 15. Again, he puttles this one, and it's just going to be a single.
And you might even see Moores do what Monroe was doing, stand right across the stumps and try and just close down an angle in a minute. But if Dan keeps bowling that, it's going to be very hard to lift him over the leg side. And I'd imagine he might go the opposite now to Clark and give a little bit of air to the big boundary.
He's not got his hairband in today. He's just gone for the sunglasses.
No, I saw a picture on the Bears WhatsApp yesterday. He had hair clips with him at Derby yesterday, so he might have some hair clips in there.
Ah, possibly. It just seems to be flopping down into his eyes a little bit. It's a terrible thing when you've got... not that I'm aware of that problem, but obviously, clearly if you wish to have long hair and you want to bowl, it's an issue when it's flopping around in his eyes. 173 for 2.
Very well bowled.
Right in the block hole, isn't it?
It's superb bowling. It is medium pace. It's not spin. It's medium pace, and he's nailing his Yorker very well.
Ripple of applause around Edgbaston following that one. And he's his mark at the Birmingham end again. That's
well
4
again.
Just going to be a single on the full toss. 174 for 2. And again, this becomes a really good over.
If he can get out of this with just a couple of... Was there 1 ball to go or 2?
2 to go.
2 to go. So, sorry, I wasn't sure if it was a wide. So even if a boundary and a single or 2 singles, it's a really good over.
Another wide. 1 more to the total. 175 for 2. I mean, in the context of the runs that are on the board and the way I mean, he did both 3 of those overs in the power play, didn't he? So he took advantage and helped to create that early situation. But to come out of this potentially with less than 20 runs from your 4 overs is, compared to the rest of your teammates, is going to be quite impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. And even the skills he's exhibiting now, just nailing a Yorker, which is basically medium pace. He's not put any revs on any of these balls. These have all been speared in. It's quite outstanding skills from him, and if he can carry on like this, he's going to be a real asset for the next few years.
On down the ground straight, and that's going to be all the way. Is it for 6? It is. Clark with a big shot. And another boundary to the total. 182 for 2. Clark on to 69 now at the end of the 17th over. It's a really good shot. Just made room for himself, didn't he?
It's a really good shot, but I guess the problem with Dan bowling like this, it does become a bit predictable. So he's shuffled leg side, gone deep, and then Dan's missed his Yorker by not much, but enough for Joe to get underneath him and play a really good shot back over his head. But like, he's a very good player. He's been in for 16 overs now, 17 overs, and he's seeing it really well. And he's actually currently having some physio treatment, so I'm not sure what he has done to himself, but he's obviously had to call someone on.
What's Joe's high score in T20 cricket?
Well, I've got his high score against the Bears. It was 86, so he's well on track actually to surpass that. In terms of career high score, I have also got that as well. That was 136. It came from just 65 balls against Northants in 2021.
It could be. I don't think he's going to get to a century. I mean, he's got 3 overs unless he really goes some. 69 he's on the board with. 182 for 2. Moores has quickly scooted to 16 off 12 deliveries. And Henry Brooks is back. He'll probably bowl the last 2 from this end.
You'd imagine so, and he's had a good evening so far. But he's not going to be able to just do what he did early and hit a hard length. He will probably look to do that to Moores with the big boundary.
Yeah, mid-on and mid-off are in, so again it's going to be into the wicket. There's applause from Moeen Ali. Of course, Moeen captain him for as part of the Birmingham Phoenix.
He did last year, and Henry obviously started that tournament unbelievably well last year. Slightly surprised.
As he did this one?
Yeah, slightly surprised he didn't get retained by him, but he'll be hoping if he can put in some more performances like he did in that first day of the T20 Blast, that he'll get a wildcard pick.
We are, of course, a little bit later going to be seeing Shaheen Shah Afridi bowling for Notts. So a slight change in tactic to Clark, though. We've got a long on and a long off here. So you expect it to be full, which it is.
Yeah, I think with this field he's only really got a wide Yorker or a wide slower ball because of the third man, deep point, and then your straight men. He can't stray too straight and get picked up over the leg side for short boundary. So it's really good execution there by Henry of that wide Yorker.
And as a bowler, when you're, in essence, because the way you're setting this up, you're looking to give away a single. So with the right and left-hander, every other ball, you're going to be executing a different skill. It's a big ask from the skipper, isn't it?
It is. But it's why we do our hard yards in the winter and our training, and that's very well bowled.
Yeah, he's bowled it. Henry Brooks celebrates again. And that's the end of Moores for 17 from 12 balls. And the big 10 comes on the screen for Henry Brooks, who strikes once more. He got the wicket of Hales, and he adds to that now with the wicket of Tom Moores, and it's 184 for 3 now, midway through the 18th over. And Moores will stride off. Interesting to see who appears next for the Outlaws. They like that one in the crowd, though, that's for sure.
I think that might have been a bit of a slower ball from Henry. Not 100%.
Look on the replay.
Yeah, just an off cutter. But it's that hard, heavy length which, like we said, he needs to bowl to this big boundary, and he's just made Moores make a mistake by trying to back away and create some room. So it's really good bowling from Henry. Bounced back superbly from last night, and he's looked really good tonight, being really wise head on his shoulders with his change-ups and when he's bowled his different lengths, and he was just smart with the new ball. He just didn't try anything too much and just kept repeating, and that's when Henry's at his best, when he's cool, he's calm, and he's just backs his skills and backs his execution.
Matt Montgomery's the new batsman. Aaron, Bears fans might not know too much about him.
It depends. If you're an absolute badger like yours truly, you'll remember him from 2021. He was actually playing in the side which won the second 11 T20, and on finals day down in Arundel scored scores of 60 and 66 for the Bears as we went on to lift the trophy, so he has got history against this club.
There we go. He's the new batsman for the Outlaws. 184 for 3.
And that was a superb Yorker from Henry. I love the fact that you know that, because I remember he played for us that day, but I couldn't tell you he scored runs. But I know we were interested in potentially bringing him in. So, but I think Notts already had him signed up by that stage. He was just going for the finer details. But he's a really good player. He got his maiden Championship 100 a few weeks ago and made it a really big one. And he's been handy in this competition for him so far.
He is 23 years of age. A right-hand bat, of course. He's the new batter for the Outlaws as Brooks is in again. And
superb execution from Henry again, just nailing that wide Yorker. There's not a huge amount he can do with it. And it's been a really good over so far, 3 off it, I think.
Yeah, and it's clever planning by Mo and Henry, isn't it? Because they were saying, okay, the left-hander, it's going to have to be into the wicket, and we're going to, pack the leg side and the offside to make sure that we look after those boundaries. But to the right-hander with that short boundary on the leg side, that Yorker outside off stump, and just concede a single down the ground if you can.
Oh, he's been superb so far this over, and let's hope he finishes it off.
Oh, he's ramped. Oh, and it just about goes over Danny Briggs's head.
That's a superb shot.
And that's 4 runs. Really nicely played in the end from Clark.
Henry has absolutely nailed his skill there. I reckon if we see that on replay, that is pretty much landing on the crease line, and Clark's reverse swept him for 4. Like, sometimes you just got to say fair play, but that's a really, really good over there from Henry. He's dragged the momentum back a little bit. I think it's the first time Notts have been under 10 since about the 8th over.
Yeah, he's just scooped that. He's literally just scooped that and lifted it over Danny Briggs, who was in the circle. And talking of Danny Briggs,
Craig Miles.
It's going to be Miles. I thought Danny Briggs was coming back on for a minute then, but no. My eyesight with my 18s and my 15s.
Danny Briggs to the long boundary of 2 right-handers might not be the worst play, but I guess they're just going to go pace hard into the pitch and make them just hit to the long boundary.
Yep, over 19. He's gone for 35 from his 3 so far. He's got the 2 right-handers. He's got Montgomery on strike, 189 for 3. So the run rate 10.5. So we're looking at chasing something just over 200 here. Probably around the 210 mark, you would think, if they execute the skills that they want to here, the Outlaws. But what can Craig Miles do to stop them? Short and into the leg side, and 4 runs.
It's a good shot. With this field, it's quite predictable the length he's going to bowl, but he's got that so far in front of the square with almost like a short arm jab. I wouldn't really call it a pull shot. It's more like a short arm jab, and it's gone through cow corner. And it's a really good bit of batting. Like I said, it's a bit predictable what we're going to bowl here because of the big boundary, but it's still the right option in my opinion.
Miles in again, 193 for 3. Montgomery on strike again. That one he takes a slash out and misses, and the first bounce. Good keeping from Alex Davis.
Yeah, I think he just rolled his fingers across that. Just done him with pretty much same length ball, but that's where Craig needs to be clever in this over, is just varying his pace, smashing that length but varying his pace. And we're seeing third man now come up and long on go back, so he's going to have to continue with that length, but I think you might see more slower balls because less likely for it to fly down to third man if there's less pace on it.
10 balls, innings to go. 193 the score right now. Short again. Similar kind of shot this time, but he didn't get as much of it.
No.
It's not a pull, is it? It's just a shovel.
Yeah.
Into the leg side for a single.
Yeah, he's just sitting deep in his crease, expecting what Craig's going to bowl, and again, I think he's just rolled his fingers across it, and it's just gripped a little bit and then hit high on the bat. I'm assuming they'll go the same tactic to Clark here, but you might see Clark back away and try and play that baseball shot we saw a few overs ago, where he flat backs, and that's probably why you've now seen fine leg come up and long off go back. So you expect he's going to hit hard back of a length, either slow ball with pace on. But Clark might just have a few more options to go against it.
Pause again, and umpire looks and says no, that's acceptable. And Joe Clark looks back and says, really? That was a leg side, surely?
I think it's more the height he's asking.
Yeah, well, he's asked about both, and he's shaking his head still.
But I'm a bowler, I'm always backing the bowler in that situation, but it might have been a bit high. But you take your luck in 220, and a lot of the time those things go against you, and so far really good over from Craig. Like four off the first ball, but he's bounced back really well since.
194 for 3. 2 balls to come in the over. That's outside the off stump and not where you want to be. And Clark carves it away over the top of Moeen Ali for 4.
No, that's a misexecution there from Craig. With this field, it's probably not what he wanted. He's gone for a slower ball and he's just missed his length. As simple as that. Pressure, sometimes that can happen in T20 in any cricket, you know. Now it's a really big ball for this last ball of the over. Craig's going to want to get out this over really well. Anything under a boundary is a win for the Bears here.
78 Clark is on to. Scored those off 47 deliveries. 198 for 3. Faces Miles again. Flat batted into the leg side. They're going to go for a second. No, they choose not to. Montgomery will keep the strike. So Clark will keep the strike. 199 for 3 then, with 1 over remaining. And Miles is done. The end of his over. And a reminder, you can get your Fan Craze favourite player cards right now if you would like to. Fancraze.com is where you can collect your Bears players. And there was a fair few Alex Davises flying out earlier on today amongst the junior Bears at the very least. No surprise, Henry Brooks is going to bowl the final over. 3 overs, no end, 2 for 19 so far from Henry. 199 for 3. Clark on 79 from his 49 balls so far. And they'll just be trying to keep him on strike throughout this over.
Oh, they will win. You'd imagine Henry's just going to stick to that wide Yorker and make Clark play for a kind of reverse scoops he did at the end of the previous over.
That's a full ball.
Full toss and 6.
That's 6. Yeah, no doubt about that.
Is that a no ball or is that just 6?
Is he put
No, it's not a no ball. No, Clark wants it.
I thought, again, he's asking the question to say, are you sure? But there's no signal from the umpire, apart from the arms in the air. Well, it's quite tight as well, isn't it?
I think Henry may have just got away of one there looking on replay.
Yeah, Clark is turning around saying, hang on, surely.
But that's a incredible shot from Clark at Henry's pace at that height to react like that and put it away.
200's up, 205 for 3. It's going to be a big target for the Bears, this. Outside the offside, that's a wide ball again. Henry just trying to correct himself, but it's where he needs to bowl it.
It is, and I think it's a lot of bottle from any bowler when you've just bowled a near waist high full toss to then still back your skill and hit a Yorker like he's hit his length well there. He's just missed outside the wide line, and he's got to be pushing the limits of those wide lines because of that small boundary, but he's just gone the wrong side of it there, and Slasher White has given it a wide.
206 for 3. In again. Oh, that's a high one once more.
That is a no ball this time.
And that's going to bounce, and we look at the square leg. There is the no ball.
Lumley's given it a no ball from square leg. It actually looked maybe fractionally lower than the last one. But now it's going to be a free hit to Montgomery, and there's still 5 balls to go of this over. It's not started well for the Bears this over.
Well, after the conclusion and the death bowling last night that allowed Derbyshire to get away, these could be precious runs for the Outlaws, and he tries to wrap it in the end. It's well bowled from Henry, and there's no run added to the total. 4 balls remaining, 209 for 3, and at last Clark is off strike.
Yeah, and Montgomery's gone very early there, so it looked like Henry just bowled a cutter into the pitch when he saw him go for the ramp. So really smart from Henry there. I'd imagine now you're going to go back to the wide Yorker ploy when there's 4 balls to go, so he's just got to, it's obvious, isn't it? He's got to go for as few as possible and just nail those wide Yorkers.
Yeah, I think as well, Clark just telling Montgomery just get a single please, which he's done.
That probably would have been a wide if he had left it, but Notts are going to be much happier with the fact that Clark is on strike now.
With 3 balls to go, 2-10 for 3. Clark on 86. So he's only 3 lusty blows away from managing to bring up a century, which I'm sure as Clark eyes that square leg boundary is probably exactly what he's thinking to himself.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see him now setting up almost on off stump, if not further, and saying to Henry, I'm going to try and take away your wide option, or your wide Yorker option.
Aaron, highest total for the Outlaws here?
Was 193. In terms of all games against the Bears, it was 211. So that could be surpassed on the very next ball as they get to 211 for 3.
Yeah, they do. Just a single to Sam Hain, who's fielding just down below us here. 211 for 3, 87 for Clark. So no chance of him getting to that century. Montgomery on 7, and 2 balls remain.
Good change up from Henry, a bit risk reward there, going into the pitch of short boundary, but because Clark moved so far to be offside, he got away with it and followed him nicely. So 2 balls to go, and he's going to hope for a 1 or a dot here.
Montgomery back down the ground. Going to be fielded by Lintop, just the 1. And it's 2-12, so high score in any competition or any T20 Blast outing for Notts against the Bears.
And after 6 first ball followed by wide and a no ball, it's been a really good pullback from Henry here.
Even with all that, it's still 2 for 32.
Yeah, after being some quite nice figures before that, but big ball here, big ball to gain some momentum for the Bears.
Straight back down the ground, Lintop! He's dropped it.
But might get
run out. No, don't think he is run out. They get the 2, and they finish on 2-14 for 3. Hard running that time. 2-14 for 3, Montgomery on 8, and Clark finishes on 89, 10.7. So 215 will be the target for the Birmingham Bears to chase down victory here. After the power play, removing Hales early, Liam Norwell, this was probably not what we were expecting.
No, 40 for 1 off the power play. You're definitely not hoping to be looking at 214 from a Bears point of view, but it also shows what a good pitch it is, what a good surface it is outfield and short boundaries. Look, we've got a great batting lineup. It's explosive. We bat so low, and we've got such a dangerous lineup that we're going to back ourselves to chase it. And if we can get after a Freudian ball up top, then hopefully we can limit their Notts' options throughout the middle.
Yeah, Alan, can you have a look at successful run chases by the Bears here and see what's the highest they've achieved? Because that would be quite interesting to know while I run you through the card. Alex Howes was the first man out, bowled by Brooks for 1. Then Munro and Clark put on a very healthy partnership of 122. Munro was out for 87, caught Barnard off the bowling of Ali off just 43 deliveries, 9 sixes involved. Tom Moore's added 17 from 14 balls before he was bowled by Henry Brooks. Clark finishes 89 not out of 53 balls, 7 fours and 6 sixes, and Montgomery 8 not out from 8 balls with just the 1 4. When we come back, the target is 215 for the Bears to chase.
Well, that was quite something. 214 for 3. Marie Kelly, how do we chase that down? That's a huge score, especially having put the opposition into bat.
Yeah, look, I think there's just only one way to go about it now, and the batters are going to be pretty clear in their approach. They've just got to go for it from ball 1, haven't they? Looks like a decent track to bat on. Got quite a lot of value for their shots, so I think we've got the batters to do it. So let's just see how it goes.
When Brooks got Hales, we were watching it from up here, and we thought, okay, well, it's going to be one of those kind of days where he just went right through him. He thought, oh, okay, that's going to they're going to go through them now. But then the relentless attack from Munro and Clark, Clark finishing on 89 not out, and Munro went for 87 off 43 balls. I mean, that was quite breathtaking to watch.
Exactly. Obviously, fantastic striking from Munro, and I think Clark looked quite frustrated early doors, but he rode it out pretty well, didn't he? And then when Monroe got out, he then took the reins and played the perfect part there to get that massive total.
Yeah, it was that phase right at the end of the power play where they hadn't quite gotten away yet. But then there was that over from Maxwell. I believe it was the 7th over of the innings, and they went for 19. And, you know, it just kind of set the tone. They weren't really going to let any bowlers set their stall out.
Yeah, exactly. I think the 7th over is so key in T20, and that can kind of set the mood for the rest of the innings. And, yeah, for that over to go for 19, I think just let Monroe fire, didn't it? And he didn't stop from there.
There were some big sixes as well. I mean, we just got a chance to watch them from a few different vantage points here at Edgbaston. There's no bad view here, but I mean, I felt like every stand I went to, the ball was following me. The ball was going for 6 everywhere. Some breathtaking hitting.
Yeah, he just looked so clear on where he was hitting, didn't he? He seemed like he got a good base, knew exactly where he was going, and he picked and chose the right balls to do it. He was quite smart in getting in and out the over, and yeah, played some pretty big cricket shots there.
It's more the cricket that, from a Nottinghamshire perspective, this is what they've been looking for all season, isn't it? This is what they wanted. They wanted to have that aggressive, you know, non-stop sort of runaway train of attack at the top. They haven't quite found it. I mean, the first 2 games they did it, I guess, but since then they've lost that rhythm. They might have found it again today.
I know, that's what we were talking about at the start, wasn't it? That's not what we've seen so far this season, and unfortunately we got to see it then. But I guess it's entertaining for us as spectators, and hopefully the Bears can go out and do the same.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the thing to look forward to. I mean, the Bears have got plenty of batting, obviously. You know, that will challenge this. Alex Davies at the top with Moeen Ali. Moeen's just been over in the IPL. High intense environment over there, obviously. Yeah. He seemed quite relaxed at the start of the day when I was speaking to him before the toss. So, I mean, this should be, you know, it should feel quite natural in a way. A high intense, high pressure environment.
Yeah, I think they'll be a little bit disappointed in terms of the momentum towards the back end of the game, especially after they got Monroe out. But yeah, like you said, they'll be used to chasing big scores, and that clarity is there that they've just got to go out and smash it.
That last ball, we were up here just getting ready to go back live, and we saw the drop catch from Lintott, which I know it's not really a big deal. It didn't mean anything in the context of the game. But does it have any sort of psychological effect? Because you kind of finish on a low. Like if you just take that catch, does it just leave you in a slightly more positive mindset going into your chase?
Yeah, I think it does. We talk about that quite a lot as a fielding side. You really want to finish, especially when they've obviously racked up that many runs. You want to have just that little bit of momentum that can just take you forward into your innings. So yeah, a little bit disappointing there, and obviously the 6, the no ball, the wide as well in that over. So it just felt a little bit frantic towards the end there when you just want a little bit of calmness towards the end.
There was no calm for Warwickshire out there. They used a total of 8 bowlers in that innings, and nobody really had anything sort of to write home about, other than possibly Henry Brooks. 2 for 34 for him. Had to bowl the 20th over there as well. And I thought he came back really well after getting hit for that 6 first ball. I mean, he was very impressive early doors, especially when you've been on the end of a 200-plus score. That's already impressive. Yeah,
exactly. Like, he started well, and obviously coming on back at the end there with the team that's already on 200 going into the last over, it's always going to be challenging. But you could see that the Bears were trying to execute different plans. You could see a bit of a wide line plan going on, but just didn't quite execute a few deliveries, which got sent the distance, unfortunately.
As a captain, you don't want to use 8 bowlers, really, do you? You want, I mean, just for your own sort of tidiness of presentation. Like, I've done some scoring before. It's no fun to have. You got to put 2 bowlers in one person's slot. It's no fun. But like 8 bowlers just tells you a little bit about. It feels like throwing a lot of stuff against the wall, hoping something will stick.
Yeah, I think when people are going that hard at you, it's quite hard to keep bowling the same bowlers, and you just try and do different things. You try and mix it up, and obviously it's not a great position to be in. But on the flip side, you can't keep bowling the same bowlers that are getting sent the distance. And Moeen's probably hoping that somebody put their hand up and could get a couple of overs in there for him, which obviously didn't quite happen today.
And now he's got to do it with the bat. We know he's definitely capable of this, as is Alex Davies, as is that whole top order, really, to be fair. Yep. Some power hitters all the way through. Glenn Maxwell, he has to come through today.
Exactly, yeah. It's a day for him to shine, and he'll love these big pressure moments. He'll be used to this, and kind of big bash playing for Oz. Yeah, he'll be used to this, and hopefully one of that sort of top 4, 5, even 6 can put their hand up and go for it.
Yeah, it feels like they need to have a big innings early, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like one of the top 3 have got to go for they've got to get to like a 70-80 score.
Yeah, I think a good power play will get the ball rolling. Obviously, Notts didn't quite have the power play that they'd have probably wanted, but it just shows that once you get going on this wicket, you can make it real big.
What do they need from the power play?
I'd say you need to try and get ahead of the rate to 10s at least.
Tens at
say,
least.
yeah.
That would leave them behind the rate.
Well, what are they?
Yeah,
now?
214 is the score. 215 to chase.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's 10.60, I think.
Yeah.
If my math is correct, which it probably isn't, to be fair. But that's a tough ask.
Yeah, it might be more crucial to have wickets in hand then. I think obviously tens in the power play is what you kind of aim for most games anyway. So obviously as many runs as possible, but maybe just focusing a little bit more on those wickets in hand, just give you a little bit more momentum going into the later stage of the game.
It's a hard ask because it's from the bowling side. They're gonna have Shaheen Afridi and Jake Ball to deal with, both outstanding bowlers, of course. Shaheen coming from Pakistan, although he's not had the season that I'm sure he wanted so far. I mean, it's a tough ask to go hard against them straight away, but they kind of have to. They've got a big crowd in, a huge crowd. You know, they've been enjoying the action. You know, it's been fun from one perspective in the sense they got to see a lot of runs.
Yeah.
But what we'd really like to see is them attack these two world-class bowlers.
Absolutely, and obviously both world-class bowlers, but they've both got quite a bit of pace to work with, so that may fall in Birmingham Bears' favour today. But we'll see how they fare.
Got to go high risk straight away, you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I think they do. I think they've just got to try and go for it straight away. Smart options. Try and learn from how they bowled, maybe talk to a few of the bowlers and see what they found was least effective and most effective on that wicket. It looked like kind of going into the pitch was a bit more effective, so we may see a bit more of that from Notts.
Charge down the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's see how we go. That's Marie Kelly giving her thoughts on the action so far. The Bears 215. I get the feeling they can do this. I feel like they can do this. Stay tuned. Let's see how it goes. In a few moments, you're going to hear the sounds, the soothing sounds, once again, of Mr. Adam Bridge.
To our left-hand side, it's Moeen Ali and Alex Davis that make their way out to the middle. Some run chase on here for the Bears if they're going to be victorious in this T20 Blast game, chasing down 215. Now we set Aaron the job of finding out the highest run chase that the Bears have managed in this competition here, or anywhere really. What have we got?
Yeah, it's not looking great, unfortunately, Adam. This will be our highest run chase against Notts if they can successfully do it, but I must say Moeen Ali has got a very good record against Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club in 13 innings. He's scored 455 runs, averaging 35, and he strikes 143.9, so he's got the history.
If ever a man is there to do it, Liam Norwell's alongside me. It's going to be the overseas, or one of the two overseas players, Shaheen Shah Afridi, who's going to open things up for the Outlaws from this Birmingham Pavilion end. And am I right? He was supposed to play in the 100 for the Phoenix, wasn't he? If I remember, but never quite made
so,
it.
Yeah, we're getting a thumbs up next to us, so yeah.
Next to us. But I think when due to COVID and stuff like that, they weren't able to travel over. So
you've got some proper pace and X factor here against. Oh, well, let's hope Mo can put up some of those numbers that Aaron has just chatted about.
You say that's quite funny. On the Pakistan website, he's listed as medium fast, and I was like, I don't think. Oh, he's gone right through Mo there.
Yeah, there's nothing medium about that.
Yeah, not in the slightest. What an opening delivery!
Let's just nip back a bit and just cut Mo in half, and luckily gone over the top of the leg.
Well, I do like seeing Mo in a yellow helmet, don't you? It's got a quite nice touch about it.
Yeah, it's much better than when you're bowling against him for Worcester.
Well, we know how much he loves batting in T20s here, that's for sure. And he'll be looking to get Bears off to a big start here, and he needs to. It's a big run chase, 215 against a very good bowling attack. Afridi is underway. Good delivery. Just got the outside half of Mo's bat there, I think.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why he turned around and started appealing, but it looks like he's getting a bit of swing on it, which he generally does. He's so dangerous with his new white ball. There's not many who can swing it like he can, so it's going to be a real challenge for the Bears up front. And you'd imagine if either of the two are going to take him on, it's going to be Al Davis with the short leg side boundary, but I think in first over when he's got it swinging, it's going to be risky to try it.
Yeah, Moeen Ali having a look at the toe of his bat after that one, but he's off the mark. Brings Alex Davis on to strike, and he's had a really good start to this campaign as well. Standing captain, of course, did particularly well. 126 runs to his name so far. Got his maiden T20 last time we were here against Lancashire. His first 50 for the Bears in that game. He's got his first Champo 100 against Lancashire, and he got his first T20 50 against Lancashire as well. It's always good rubbing it into the X, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bit, and he would have loved it. And I know he always wants to put his best foot forward for the Bears, and especially against his old team. But lovely shot from him to start off. A good bit of fielding by Harrison, I think, at point. And let's hope he can get the Bears off to a flyer here.
I met his wife at the end of season dinner, actually, and she came up to me and she went, "Oh," she said, "I recognise your voice from watching your T20." So it was. We must say hello to Mrs. Davies as she's watching tonight, as he scampers through for a quick single.
She's heavily involved in cricket herself. She's director of cricket for one of the women's teams, I think the South East Stars.
Oh, okay.
So she's heavily involved herself.
I didn't know that. It was late in the evening. I think I was trying to get away, so we never really got into that level of conversation.
I'll be honest, I've met her briefly. Players, all the wives and girlfriends were on the pitch after the game on Monday, so I met her briefly for 2 seconds then, so I haven't actually really met her.
2 without loss. Moeen Ali just guides that one away, down to third man. Another single. And the unmistakable figure of Samit Patel fielding down at third man. 3 without loss after 5 overs. 5 balls of the first over, should I say. That would be a terrible score, 3 without loss after 5 overs.
At the moment we're quite on par with them, so as long as we stay on par with them throughout the evening, I'll be happy.
Yeah, we'll see who's going to play the Colin Munro role, really. Davis is on strike. They're taking their time setting the field here, and it is a 5-4 field, but that reinforcement around the offside is pretty intense. We've got a fine leg and a deep square leg of the 2 fielders that are out. I think we know where this is going, because there's that ring in the offside. Afridi in again. Last ball of the over, and he gets it all wrong, and it's down the leg side, and that's going to be a wide.
Like I said, there's a bit of swing there for Afridi, so I guess that's why we've gone for this field. So if it doesn't swing and it pushes across him, he's got the protection of the offside, and then he's got your deep fine leg and fine leg and deep backward square leg. So if it does swing and get too straight, then you've got your protection there. So it's kind of a 2-prong attack you've got going on here. But you'd think if you might see Alex Davis step across and try and take him more mid-wicket if he's going to go for the attacking option.
Afridi in again, cuts it away over the top, and that's going to scoot away to the boundary ropes for the first 4 of the innings, and it means 8 are on the board at the end of the first over. Davis with a lovely shot moves on to 5. Moeen Ali on 2. And I just got the impression from the way Mo played Afridi there, he's kind of almost saying, look, I'm just going to milk you for the odd single, and we'll see you out the way and we'll take everyone else on.
Yeah, maybe, and he definitely got more swing to Mo than he did to Al, so it might just mean that is the danger factor there. But a lovely shot there from Al Davis, cut across the cut short wide, but as Ollie Hanadolwi says, that's where swing can make you look silly. The ball before has swung a lot and ended up down the leg side, and that one's probably started off on a similar line, hasn't swung, so he's been cut away. So as Ollie Hanadolwi says, swing can sometimes make you look a bit silly. But it's a good, nice, positive start from the Bears, 8 off it.
Here comes Matt Carter, and it means Moeen has got that short boundary to his leg side. Carter will bowl his spin from the Birmingham end, cut away for a no run.
And I think you'll see Carter employing the Dan Mousley kind of role, a lot of darting it in, not a huge amount of air in it. Obviously a front line spinner rather than a part-time of Dan.
That was down the leg side, and that's beaten everyone. It's a wide, and it will be 4 of them as well.
And you can see that's the ploy, they're trying to dart it in like Dan did, and well, Moores has just turned around and clapped him there, so I assume that is Moores taking responsibility for that rather than saying it's poor bowling. So they must be looking to do what Dan did with the darting it in, and it's something Carter's done very well. He got himself in the 100 last year and the year before by doing it.
That's a short cut away by Moeen Ali. That's just going to be a single. It's well fielded away to our left-hand side, stopped by Calvin Harrison. The change in field then as the right-hander comes on to strike. 14 without loss.
So probably he's going to stay around the wicket here, as the fashion is for off-spinners to right-handers in T20, just to get hit out of a long boundary. And you might see Al try and move around his crease and put him off, but after a really good start to the over, they'd probably be happy just to knock him around and just try and put away the bad ball here rather than trying anything extravagant.
Well, he's picked that up. It would have been a horrendous wide had he not decided to hit it. And for a moment I thought he got too much on that, but just a single.
And that was fielded by Conor McCurr, if I'm not mistaken, so I think someone might be off the pitch.
Joe Clark, probably?
Yeah, probably Joe Clark if
you can have a scout round.
Yeah.
Carter bowls to Moeen Ali.
Well bowled, very well bowled.
It's a good ball, just darted in. Nothing doing there for Mo, 15 without loss.
Yeah, I can't see Joe Clark out there, so, and he's not keeping tonight at least for them, so it's not a big loss. Obviously he doesn't bowl.
Carter in again.
It's a great shot.
Super shot from Moeen Ali. Over the covers, 4 runs. Just picked up the length nicely. 19 without loss. One ball remaining in the over.
Yeah, he's just stayed leg side of it and used the pace to get it up and over the offside. Again, a little bit like I was saying when Dan bowled, when you do our bowling this, it can be a little bit ridiculous. So Mo's just stayed leg side and used the pace. So it'd be interesting to see what Carter comes back with.
19 then, coming towards the end of the second over. So in terms of being on target, it's a pretty good start for the Bears. And these big run chases, it's hard to keep up with the run rate, particularly as the innings wears on. So anything you can get now is a bonus. It's driven down the ground. Carter's got a hand on that, but it'll just be a single. Mo will have the strike. 2 overs gone, 20 without loss.
And a very nice start for the Bears. We'll definitely take this, and well, we're ahead in the game at the moment, and let's hope we stay that way for the next 18 overs. But it's been a good, productive start, and I think we're looking at Jake Ball coming on from the pavilion end.
Okay, Jake Ball.
And is this his first game of the season? Is that right in saying?
It is in the T20 Blast. I mean, I've got to say, for everyone tuning in as Bears fan, this might not be the best matchup, unfortunately, for the home side. So in 8 matches against the Bears, Jake Ball has taken 12 wickets. His career best figures of 4 for 11 came against the Bears in 2021. And when you look at his career, 117 wickets in this format over the course of 85 matches. Former England player. He's got all the nous, all the wherewithal, all the experience. He's a good option for the Outlaws to have tonight.
Been in the Big Bash as well, hasn't he? He's one of those who's transcended the different franchises just because of his ability with the ball. Sneaks through for a single.
Yeah, he's a very good bowler, and I think because he almost bustles up, he doesn't run in as hard as some other people, and it's quite an old-fashioned load up. He's onto you a yard quicker than you think, and that ball there, just back of a length, hard heavy, has really kind of climbed on Mo, and he's just tucked it into leg side for 1.
Is it Jake Ball that's in business with Stuart Broad with all those pubs as well?
That's Harry Gurney.
Oh, that's Harry Gurney.
He might have something to do with it, I'm not sure, but I know it's definitely Harry Gurney.
Ball in again, 21 without loss. Played watchfully by Davis. And there is no run.
Well, that's just that hard, heavy length we chatted about with Henry Brooks earlier, which he did so well. And like Aaron said, someone who's played this amount of cricket and has been this good around the world in different franchises, that will be bread and butter to him, just hitting that hard length until he's hit off it. So I'd imagine he's just going to try and repeat as much as possible to either Dave or Mo hit him off his length.
Davis on 6. Upright in his stance. Back down the ground for 4. It's a beauty. Absolute beauty from Alex Davis.
And that's probably quite a big misexecution from Ball there. Like we said, he's first bowled 2 really good hard back and length balls, and I'm not even sure if that might even be a bit of a cutter there, so it's surprised me the option he's taken, and Al's said thank you very much and just put it straight back past him and threw mid off. So really good strike from Al, and now the pressure right on Ball.
Really good bat speed there as well from Davis, wasn't it? 25 is the score. Beautifully cut away again.
That's a great shot.
Such quick hands.
And that's just putting all the pressure on him. He's tried to do something different with the ball before, been punished, and then he's missed his hard length short, and he's been cut over the offside. It's been a really, really good start here for the Bears, and all the pressure on the bowlers. Exactly what you want when you're chasing a big total.
Yeah, back-to-back boundaries and just cut away beautifully. Didn't really give himself much room either, did he?
Not at all.
Was provided that by. I've got to say, and I don't know if that kit's disgusting, isn't it? What 2 vile colours they wear. Third over, 30 on the board, and Moeen just tries to guided away for a single, which he does really well. That's 3 overs gone. 31 without loss. It's a pretty good start, that's for sure. Don't forget you can vote for your player of the match, the Talbot's Law player of the match as well. You can vote for that by visiting the Edgbaston app, of course, if you want to have your say in who's performed best. Afridi's going to have another dart, this time from the Birmingham end, for over number 4. The target, remember, is 215, so we need another 184 from the 17 overs. But in terms of starts, 10 over, you've got to be content with this, haven't you?
Yeah, you're really happy with this start. So it's a really good platform, and we've put pressure on all the bowlers so far, and now they're having to play their trump card to bowl to a short boundary to Moeen early, which might not have been in their plans. So hopefully this can work to our advantage, and if we can make Afridi bowl more overs up top, it means they have less options at the death.
Well, we talked as well about winning power plays. You win power plays, you often win games. I mean, they only scored 40, didn't they? So yeah. I think we're in the chance potentially of winning this power play this time round. 3 overs still to go, 31 on the board. So when the chase is on like this, a good start is key.
That's got to be in the wide.
Well,
that's so high.
I was going to say, Mo looked like he was struggling to reach it, let alone anything else, but acceptable according to the umpire.
Well, to be fair, we got away with a couple, so it's only fair. But as you're saying on Man of the Match, please don't let Admin win again.
Yeah. I bet he's been unbearable.
Oh, I love Admin, but he's his head's got a little bit bigger since he won Man of the Match last night. So let's make sure someone puts their hand up tonight and wins it properly. Wow.
Oh, he's gone. Well, it's an extraordinary dismissal. Moeen's out for 10, and Afridi strikes, and he wins the battle of the big names. Shaheen Shah Afridi. Good catch taken in the deep, I think, by Harrison. The only fielder out there, and Mo's managed to pick him out, and the Bears lose their first wicket, 31 for 1.
Yeah, look, good bit of bowling. He's bowled to his field, and good catch, but that's an unbelievable piece of timing by Mo to get it out there. That's carried best part of, well, the other way, that's 6.
I was going to say, there wasn't really much power in it, was there?
That's just all timing. That's incredible piece of timing. Look, it led to his downfall, and unfortunately we're now 31 for 1. But I think that just shows what a great pitch Gary and his team have put together. If you can time a ball like that and be caught, well, nearly on the boundary, like, it shows what a great pitch Gary and his team put together, like they always do here at Edgbaston. And it's already put on a lot of runs today, and hopefully we can chase down this total with the big show coming in.
Well, I was going to say, interesting tactic this, isn't it? So they've gone with Maxwell again at 3. I mean, we thought just to try and get it over and done with against Lancashire last Monday, that was potentially a one-off, and Hayne would have stayed at 3. But again, I'm guessing he's the fastest scorer in world cricket, so you want him facing as many balls as you can. Especially
when you're chasing this size total. If he bats for 10 overs, we win the game, simple as that. And so you want to get him as early as possible, with no less fielders out and with a harder ball, which will hopefully go further for him. Obviously started off really well against Leicester, and then, like I said, he tried to get the game finished quickly against Lancs, and obviously didn't go well last night, but that happens in T20 cricket, and he's a world superstar, so let's hope he can pull it off with the Bears tonight.
Afridi into Maxwell, appealing for an LBW. That'll be a single. Yeah, the first ball against Northants wasn't great, but we saw what he was trying to do. First ball, thanks very much. Oh, caught on the ropes.
Oh, sorry, it was Northants on Wednesday night.
Yeah, Afridi felt confident about that shout, I think, but nothing doing from the umpire. 32 for 1.
No, I think he looked like he was standing quite leg side of it to open up the offside there.
Yeah, and he obviously got some bat on it.
Yeah.
So as it's been given as a single, I thought it was going to go as a leg by initially based on Afridi, but I'm getting the impression already Afridi appeals for everything.
Yeah,
even when the bat's involved.
Well, he's energetic. If he's anything like Hassan, which he obviously is, he loves his cricket, he loves his celebrations.
32 for 1 then. 4th ball of the over.
That is a great shot.
Oh, it's beautiful from Davis. Just guided that away for 4.
He's just used all the pace there, open his bat, and well, we actually now have 2 subfielders on, because that's Haseeb Hamid there, so I'm not sure who else is off the pitch for him, because definitely McCurr is on. But yeah, he's a beautiful shot. He's just used all the pace, and I'll be honest, he's practiced that shot all winter, and he played against me an annoying amount of times in the winter nets.
He's in great nick, isn't he?
Yeah, he put in so much work this winter. I'm so happy he started the season his way he has. He's in great form, and he's put all the hard yards in to get himself in that form.
Afridi in again. Oh, he's gone. Oh, it's a really good catch this time. by Colin Munro, and Davis goes for 19. And the Bears are 36 for 2 then. And Afridi is doing what Afridi does, 2 for 13. And Davis makes the walk back. And Sam Hain will be next out for the Bears. And this task, which was already tough, with 179 more required, has just become slightly harder.
Yeah, I feel I've cursed him a bit there, talking about how great a form he's in and how much work he's done. But he's actually hit that pretty well, and it's a really good catch. But again, like, we know the stats about losing wickets and power plays, and although we've got off to a really good start, it's probably now Notts' power play at this stage. But we've got Sam Hain, our leading ever T20 run scorer, coming in, and let's hope he can do what he does against Notts.
And he does well, doesn't he, Aaron?
He certainly does, gents. I'm so glad you teed me up for that. Hashtag Sam Hain for England. Let's get it trending, folks. But in terms of the old stats against Notts, 584 runs against Nottinghamshire over the course of 13 innings, averages 83.43, strikes at a 151. And at Trent Bridge, this is one of the most incredible statistics you'll ever hear in cricket. At Trent Bridge, he averages 413 in T20 cricket, which is just ludicrous. Career best score of 112 out from 52 deliveries last year at that venue. Samuel Robert Hain, the best uncapped cricketer on planet Earth, and fingers crossed for the Bears fans, he's got a chance to take the home side over the line in this particular encounter.
Well, we saw a really good partnership between Maxwell and Hain, as you mentioned, in that Leicester game, wasn't it? So we're going to need a little bit of that today. And we also saw how Hain can drag the Bears when the chips were down a little bit, when they were setting the total for Yorkshire on blast-off day. He always likes to get off the mark first ball, but not this time. Afridi's going to get a dot. 2 overs, 2 for 13 for Shaheen Shah Afridi. It's 36 for 2 at the end of the 4th over. Jake Ball is going to have another over from this pavilion end. 36 for 2 then. 2 new batsmen, both faced the ball each. Maxwell on 1, Hain on 0. Ali and Davis, the openers, departing. Still 2 overs to go in the power play. 179 more required off of 16 overs.
Yeah, all the momentum taken out of our power play in that last over, but we've got our best ever T20 player and batsman in Sam Hain, and we've got the big show. So we've still got plenty of batting to come, and let's hope these two can get us going again.
It's ball to Maxwell, wraps him on the pads, going down the leg side, shake of the head immediately from the umpire. Not even a thought. Now I've got a bowler alongside me who's like, I thought it was leg side.
Well, Maxwell looks like he's batting on leg stump, so he looked a bit leg side, but Ball was obviously certainly interested, and the way it hit him, you see him give him, because it's hit him low on the back leg, but yeah, Slasher White had no interest straight away, and he generally, if he's going to give him, he gives him pretty quickly, so shake of the head helped us there.
36 for 2. Ball again to Maxwell, who's gone after that one straight away, and it's escaped over the head and away for 4.
Afridi is interested for a second, but he couldn't backpedal in time, and I think even if he had moved quickly, he had too much on it. And good start from the big show, and ball under pressure, boundary early in his over.
It didn't sound like the kind of the crispest of hits.
No, it sounded quite toey, but I think he'll probably get some pretty good bats, I'd imagine.
For sure. 40 for 2 then. Maxwell on to 5. Goes again.
Straight up.
That is up in the air. And it's comfortably pouched by Stephen Mullaney. And Maxwell's gone. And the Bears have lost a 3rd wicket, 40 for 3. And, well, I'm not going to say it's careless because he only plays one way. He already hit a lovely boundary. And the runs are required with chasing such a big target. 175 more required, but ball has struck. And Maxwell's out for 5. Caught Mullaney off the bowling of Jake Ball, and the Bears are 40 for 3.
Yeah, like chasing his target, you've always got to go, but it's a really clever bit of bowling there. He's just bowled off cut a slow ball, and he's just completely done Maxwell for who I assume was expecting a full pace delivery, still being in the power play. Like, it's a really good bit of bowling. you might say careless or reckless, but like I said, you've got to keep going at this total. Maybe he could have given himself a few more balls, but it's T20 cricket. It's action packed, and you go for it ball after ball, and that's the way he plays. If that goes out the ground, nobody's even questioning it, are they? So
well, I think we all just wanted to see a bit more of it.
Yeah,
really.
exactly.
That was probably the crux of that one. Dan Mosley's in, 40 for 3 is the score on the board, and Mosley has been far more effective with the ball so far in this campaign. Time for him to turn it on with the bat for the Bears. Not really had the opportunity so far. 9 balls remaining in the power play, 40 for 3. And it's going to be Jake Ball to continue. 1 for 15 so far from his 9 deliveries so far.
That's a lovely shot to start.
Really nice boundary from Dan Mosley, off and running.
Ball just straight into his pads, and it's just quite a classical cricket shot there. Just a leg glance. Oh well, a bit more than a leg glance. He's absolutely nailed it. But really good start from Dan, and yeah, like he hasn't, like you said, he's played more of a role of a ball so far in this T20, but he's played some really important innings for us in the last 2 years since he's kind of come into the T20 team, and let's hope he can pull one of those out of the bag tonight for the Bears.
Jake Ball going around the wicket after that first effort. 44 for 3. 2 to come in the over. 171 more required for victory. Ball already struck once this over with the wicket of Maxwell. It's a quick single, and well, his footballing skills certainly would have been not required at Wembley today from Jake Ball. Not the best. And they scamper through for a single, and it means it brings Sam Hain, the right-hander, on strike. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because in the power play, Notts didn't really utilise the short boundary in the power play. It was only after that everything started to kind of fall into place, when you've spread the field a little bit more, and maybe, I hate to say the word lesser, because they're not lesser bowlers, but when your main power play bowlers are out of the way, and like you said, using up the overs of Afridi and stuff, the more of those you can use in the power play, the better.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did really well. They targeted our spin and paces through the middle, and well bowled off cutter. It's cut Sam Hain in half there. It looks like it's just starting to grip a little bit. That's what Sam's signalling to Dan. Maybe just with the evening settling in, it might just grip a little bit more. I don't know. It's a fresh hybrid pitch. I'll be surprised if it already started to grip, and because there's going to be a few more games on this. But
I was going to say, we're only 60 overs into the wicket, really, aren't we?
Yeah. So it might just take more Sam by surprise than anything there. But a good piece of ball and get out of the over by Jake Ball.
And we're going to see from the far end the return of Carter for over number 6, the last one of the power play. He went for 12 off his first over, but again, that just approach of trying to sneak an extra one through here.
Yeah, he's a very canny bowler, and he's got his 2 leg side men there, so I imagine you're going to see quite darted in flat balls. As I say that, he tosses it up, but Dan's clipped it into a leg side for 2.
Yeah, Sam wanted 2 there straight away. He set off with that in mind. Really good running, 47 for 3. I mean, that 50 didn't come up until over number 7, I think, so approaching the 50 mark already, but with a big total to chase. 168 more required. Mostly goes down the ground, and
he's got enough of it.
Yeah, Mulaney's not the tallest, is he? No offence to him, but he's done well to block that off for 2. Scampered after it well.
Yeah, he didn't time that at all, did he? Got enough to get over Mulaney, the advanced angle wicket, and tried to aim long over mid-on, but just enough to get over Mulaney, but nowhere near enough to get to the boundary. That's prompted a change in the field, so they're going to throw long on back and bring up deep square. Interesting to see if Dan now goes with a sweep option. Now there's no man there, but we have to wait and see.
He's just turning it into the leg side. This time it will only be a single. 50's up. 50 for 3. And we've done that inside 33 deliveries. Mosley on to 10. Hain yet to get off the mark. And 3 balls left in the power play. Changing field for Sam. 2 fielders out deep. And both on the leg side. Couple of boundary riders. And then off the mark he goes. He's run the first quickly, but again, despite it being a big boundary, never really a chance to make that into a 2. 51 for 3. Sam Hayne off the mark. 164 more required. Mostly again.
That's very well bowled.
Just turns it into the leg side. Not a bad over at all so far.
No, it looked like Dan was loading up there for a sweep or slog sweep of some kind, and Carter just followed him and cramped in for room. And really good piece of bowling by Carter.
7 off the over so far. 52 for 3. In on strike for the last ball. Again, turn into the leg side, and they'll conclude the power play on 53 for 3. Then Mosey on 11, Hayne on 2. And with 14 overs remaining, there's another 162 required for victory. And a run rate of 11.6.
Yeah, it's climbing every ball now, isn't it? Every ball that's not a boundary is going to climb. Look, we've scored 13 more than them, but they've taken 2 more wickets. So I think if you're going to balance them out, they've probably won the power play battle tonight just from the wickets. And then we've now got to do what they did to us, where they went all guns blazing from this point onwards. This is where Munro really got going, and we're going to have to take down Samet, which I'm told by Aaron is not an easy thing to do for the Bears.
Well, Samet's on, and his record against the Bears pretty good.
It's very good, and you look at his overall record in the Blast as well. 201 wickets in 225 career matches. The second leading all-time tournament wicket taker behind only Danny Briggs of the Birmingham Bears. So, yeah, he's rather good, is Samet Patel. Also, I believe he's been playing some club cricket for Nolan Dorridge.
He has been.
39 years of age now, Samet Patel, and he's milked away for a single to start over number 7. 54 for 3. Mosey on 11, Hayne is on 3. I just feel like I've been watching Samet Patel all my life play cricket. I know he is only 39 years of age, but wow. Just feels like he's been around forever. Left armour, of course, to left-hander. Straight down the ground. Make that into a 2.
Very well run by Sam. Sam wanted 2 from the second he hit that there, and made sure he got it. But a good bit of fielding by 3D down below us. And we're going to have to find a way to take down Samet if we want to win this game.
Feels like he could be one of the weak links that needs exploiting. Full toss. It's dealt with by Mosey again for a single. Someone told me the other day that Dan used to bat right-handed, but learnt as a youngster to bat left-handed.
I have no idea about that, if I'm being honest.
But still plays golf right-handed.
I've never played golf with him, but I know the lads are not happy about his handicap. That's all I can say.
Oh no, I've seen him at the golf day. Yeah, he wears a mask, bandito, I think they call him. That's got to be wide.
No, that's just inside the wide. That's a very good piece of bowling. But Sam often can get off to slightly slower starts and accelerate towards the end, so nothing to worry about, Bears fans.
Just a single. And he moves on to 4. Picked up and held in that time by Jake Ball. Just trying to scan around this field to see who is off the field at this moment in time.
Yeah,
certainly Montgomery's round there. Hamid is definitely out. I've not seen McCurr again, but down the wicket comes Mosley, and Samet Patel fields 58 for 3 then. 7 overs gone, and Liam will depart, and the Bears women's captain Marie Kelly will come in and join us at this point. And the sun's setting in Birmingham. Plenty of runs required. See, big crowd in, enjoying themselves for a Saturday night. None of them have been all day, of course, having watched the Sparks earlier on today against. It's the Southern Vibe, is it? It's the Southern Vibe, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Looking a
Those
bit.
crazy names you lot have.
I know. It's hard to follow all the teams, isn't it? So many different names now.
58 for 3. Haynes on strike, and Mullaney is coming into the attack. And Stephen Mullaney, captaining the side, of course.
How are you feeling here?
Yeah, I think we're a bit nervous. Too many
I'm
wickets
a bit
down.
nervous.
We're trying to work out how Mo got out there, because he only picked. He hardly hit it, and yet somehow managed to just pick the one fielder out. That
It's
was
just the pace of Freddie, isn't it?
Yeah,
it just kept on going, didn't it?
certainly. And then Liam was telling us how Alex was in such great shape, and the next ball he was out.
No, we can't say that
No.
whilst he's on commentary.
Yeah, he said how hard he'd been working, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Well, I won't say anything about Hayne then, almost.
No, say nothing about either of them at the minute. I'm mostly on 14. Hayne is on 6.
I can just stay quiet, right? That's how commentary
talk
works, yeah?
occasionally, yeah.
All right, okay.
61 for 3. Haynes on to 7 now. Here we are in over number 8. Run rate's 12.2, so it's just starting to creep up.
I feel like we had quite a good start. First 3 overs were all right. Just lost a few quick wickets, isn't it?
But when you're chasing a total like this, as Liam was saying, as I was being mildly critical about Maxwell, that's a big 6 from Dan Mosley. Well, he's taken advantage of that short boundary. And I'm not going to call Mulaney a dobber, but he perhaps is one that needs to be taken down a little bit here.
I know. And I heard you call Samit Patel the weak link.
No, what I said
was
not
to be underestimated,
he's not
Samit.
to be underestimated, but the stats back up that he's very good, but he needs to be taken down. They've got to take some of these people down. Look.
I know. I do think you've got to get on top of him early.
And
Don't let him settle.
I'll quantify my Mulaney. I mean, you've just seen there a floater outside the off stump that should probably have been dealt with. It's only gone through for a single. What I'm saying is he's not exactly Speedy Gonzalez, is he? If you're looking down, you're not going to start picking on Ball and Afridi. You're going to have to take down the Mulaney's and the Patels of this world.
I know, but that's where they get the wickets, isn't it? It's the clever change-ups, little variations. People fall into that trap. They've got a good, well-balanced bowling attack, to be fair.
They have, but they've only won 2 games all season so far. So 69 for 3. Nosey's on 21. Hayne on 8, just sneaking along quietly. 146 more required. Mosley again has found a decent gap there. Going to get 2 for that. Always good to see a fielder sprawling. In this instance, I think it may have been McCurr, so he's definitely still out there, McCurr. On cover duty. A reminder as well, if you want to collect your favourite Bears players, you can at fancraze.com. You can get more than just Wokes, Hayne and Davis, I promise you. It's safe to say that there were a few popular ones earlier on today with some of the youngsters. Samit's coming back on for another over. I mean, I said they need to go after me, and he went for 5 off that first over. So
he did, and I do feel like we can't let the rate get any more than 12s really at the minute. Let's try and get on top of it early here.
8 overs gone. Time can just tick by with the likes of Carter and Patel. And it is Patel who's into Hayne, who's just started to wobble around the crease a bit. I think he knows that he needs to get a shift on here. 9 he's on to from 11 balls, 72 for 3. 143 required. 215 the target, remember, Notts managing 214 for 3 from their 20 overs after a fairly quiet start. Patel, good movement down the wicket from Mosley, but just a single. Well fielded that time by Calvin Harrison, who took the catch to remove Moeen Ali.
Samit's been playing for Nolan Dorridge Cricket Club, hasn't he, in the Birmingham Prem?
So we hear, yeah.
So he's a bit more of a local now, isn't he?
Well, I don't know about that. He's one of those cricketers that's always annoyed me. I don't.
Really?
Yeah, because Notts always used to win everything, and he was right in the middle of it. And he was always the thorn in the side of so many teams. You just couldn't get him out, or he would just come on and he would take 2 or 3 wickets really quickly, and you'd just be like, oh. And here he is, still going, nearly 40 years of age, and
still performing, isn't he?
Well, and that's the key, isn't it? They keep going and going, and I mean, he's looked after himself incredibly well to still be as effective as he is in this Notts side, because you just can't imagine a Notts side without Samit, really.
No, and I think he's very clear on what his role is and what he's there to do over winter, and yeah, he's got his position pretty nailed on.
Sam Haynes tried to nail that one, and he has for 4. Straight back down the ground, over the umpire, over the bowler, and Sam Haynes finds the boundary, moves on to 14. What's the power in that?
Right, I'm not saying anything positive about Sam Haynes, just in case.
Well, I think you can say that was a good shot. That's acceptable.
It was an amazing shot. So I'm not going to jinx it anymore.
Brute force that from Sam Haynes. Oh, he's missed that one outside the off stump, and Morse has failed to gather. And that's the end of the over. 9 overs gone, 79 for 3. Another decent over from Samit Patel, despite that boundary.
What What's the rate at now? Did we get that?
Well, 136 required off of 11 overs, so even my maths is telling me that's above 12.
Yeah.
Probably 12 and a half. 12.3. Have we seen something now? Who's going off this time?
I can't see that far.
There's a fair change around all the time here in terms of fielders that go. Jake Ball looks like he's left the field now as well.
Is that Lyndon James?
So that could be 3 potential. We think they've got 3 substitute fielders on at the moment.
Wow.
Talk about the walking wounded. Carter's into the attack. Bowls to Mosley.
I think this is potentially the bowler to go after. Already gone at 10s.
McCurr doing the fielding, one of the substitutes. And yeah, charging across the outfield there is Lyndon James. He's a strapping lad. Big and tall, wearing number 45. Another one of the subs that's out there with Hamid as well. So that's 3 off. How many are you allowed off at once? I mean, 3?
I think 3, yeah.
Half the team's disappearing here, but the Jake Ball one will be the worry for a bowling perspective for the Outlaws, of course. And
surely they wouldn't have brought any more than 14 with them.
No,
maybe
they
15.
did bring 14, I think, today.
Right. I did see Hamid and I thought he wasn't in the batting lineup, was he?
82 for 3. 4 balls remaining before we reach the halfway mark. Just ticking along a little better now. Hayne on 16, Mosley on 26. Hayne back down over the bowler's head. I mean, it's a safe. I mean, as someone who likes to whack it, it's a safe place to whack.
Yeah, that's very smart from Hayne. No fielders there. Straight back over the bowler's head. I think, like we saw earlier, Clark took his time to get going. Actually, he was striking at sort of 110 for quite a bit, and then he pulled the pin. So hopefully that's the way Hayne's going to go about it as well.
Yeah, really nice shot from Sam Hayne. Moves on to 20.
That was such fast feet from Hayne, made that into a shorter delivery than it actually was.
It's a bit more delicate, just be a single.
It's lovely cricket that, isn't it? 4 followed by a single.
Yeah, he does it very well.
Very smart.
87 for 3. Mosley on 26. Hayne on 21. On 28 required. It's gone through, and that's just going to be 1 more to the total. Moores. I noticed the other night, it's a bit weird, obviously I spend a lot of time watching football, but seeing a sportsman out there with 2 earrings in, I just find it's weird, because you don't, in football obviously they're not allowed to wear any of those kind of things, and he was just keeping wicket with a diamond earring in each ear, and I'm like, that's peculiar.
He's got his own style, hasn't he, Moores?
Well, I'd be worried about it, you know. I suppose there's no contact though, is there? So no one's going to pull it out, or it's going to get caught on something.
No, it should be. And he's not diving around, is he, on the floor?
No, certainly not. End of the over, 10 overs gone, 90 for 3 as things stand. So going at 9 and over, 12.5 is the run rate now. Yeah, it has just
creeping up,
crept up. Yeah, I mean, Samet's bowled 2 overs for 13, so that was 8 of his last over. We are going to see a change, and we're going to see Harrison coming into the attack to replace Patel from this.
He's quite young, Harrison, isn't he?
He is. A bit of leg spin. Are you still bowling a bit of both?
Yeah.
You bowling left-handed and right-handed?
Yeah.
You are, aren't you? I thought you
Yeah,
were.
still. I've had a few injuries and stuff over the winter, so I haven't bowled as much as probably did last year, but still trial it both in the nets. It's good practice for others, isn't it? If we're facing a few lefties the next day.
Mosley on strike then. Harrison to bowl to him. Just advances. Tucked away for 1. Sam Hayne was keen on a second. But Mosley happy. Just for the single. Brings Hayne on strike. Well protecting that leg side boundary. So anything short here. I know we're playing against the spin, but you would feel it's worth it. 3 on the ring on the offside for the leg spinner. Cut away though just for a single. Picks the man out in the deep. 1 more to the total.
Looks difficult over that side with the sun setting as well to pick out the ball.
Yeah, almost entirely in shade across Edgbaston now. 92 for 3.
It's getting quite cold up there actually.
Oh, is it? Have you been outside?
Yeah. I've been just in the little hospitality box down there.
It's all right for some, while the rest of us are working hard.
Sniffed out a few samosas, I must admit.
Oh, that's a good catch. It's a great catch, in fact. I think Dan Mosley thought he got enough there, and he's hung on for a minute. Well, the
just checking whether it's out or not.
Yep. He'd gone for the reverse, and the catch has been taken in the deep, and the umpires are going to have a conversation, I think. No, he is making his way off. And fury from Dan Mosley. Another one gone for the Bears, 92 for 4. He's out for 28. And the wicket's gathered by Harrison. See the replay. Yeah, he looks like he's taken that cleanly.
Yeah, you can tell by the reaction, can't you? That's who was that? Who caught that?
It's a very good catch. Really get a chance to have
Is it one of the subfielders?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me.
There's me talking about samosas, and there was that outstanding catch.
Well, you know, thinking about your stomach.
I know, they are good though. It's always good food here, isn't it, Edgbaston?
Benjamin's the new batsman. I don't know, I had a cheese sandwich before we started. That was about as good as it got today.
I'll go fetch you some samosas if you want.
Well, we were offered some actually by admin. Actually, admin offered us some samosas, I think. Benjamin's coming in. Aaron not having the best of campaigns so far.
He's not. However, if we are looking at the stats, and you know Oliver's stats, in second innings he actually does average more in T20 cricket. Averages 44 compared to 26 in first innings. So
a good chaser.
He is a good chaser. Career best score of 68 for the Bears for Chris Benjamin. So
and that was on debut, wasn't it? Was it on debut?
No, it wasn't.
No,
the debut.
He scored a 50 on debut, didn't he?
Scored 61, I think it was, against Northants. I was sat over there in the Stanley Barns for it.
Batted well for Phoenix that year as well, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Breakthrough star.
92 for 4 then. Benjamin's in, and he's on strike straight away. And I mean, there was a little bit of talk as to whether Robbie Yates might find his way back in the team, potentially at the expense of Benjamin, having been in such good nick. But I'm guessing this is the kind of innings that you, or the situation you want Benjamin for, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He's got that flair, kind of hits different pockets, doesn't he? Might trouble the Notts bowlers and make them change their plans up a little bit.
It was Matt Montgomery that took the catch for the Outlaws.
Ah, nice.
Harrison's in again. Hayne into the leg side just for a single.
He's been a great find for Notts, scoring lots of runs.
Yeah, we was hearing a bit of his history from our badger in the corner. Who,
oh, were you?
Yeah, he knows his way around Montgomery's past. 94 for 4.
He's just quite like varied, isn't he? Does a lot of different formats, but does all three pretty well.
Nice driven shot that time. Again from Benjamin, just a single end of the over. That's 11 overs gone. And 95 for 4. So another 120 required from 9 overs. So again, that run rate just ticking up once more. I'm trying to do my maths and work out if we've quite reached 13. And I think we have, yeah. Just over 13.3. How are you good at your 9 times table? That's how I was working that one through.
Yeah, I'm not the best anymore, but I think cricket does do that, especially when you're captaining or trying to work out the rate. It's pretty good for your maths growing up.
So if you were captain now and you are in the Bears dressing room, what's the plan of action with these two? Do you just say to them you need to go hell for anything now, or are you waiting to the last 5 or 6 overs and going?
No, not now. Not now. It's gone up to 13s. You've just got to go for it now.
Mulaney's back on. He bowls to Benjamin, turns him in the leg side. These two can run well together, but again, it's just going to be one big boundary, but not enough time to turn those into 2s. It's just a single to the total.
I think I'll be looking for Hayne to kind of try and take the reins a little bit here now. He's been in, what, 20 balls is it now? Yeah, he needs to probably get on with it a little bit, try and really get above the rate if they can.
He's very good at that acceleration when it's required, isn't it?
Absolutely.
He's beaten outside the off stump there by Mulaney. Bails off.
I feel like in these situations it's not about getting sort of 13 and 14 every over, it's you need one big over here that goes for sort of 22 really, 20 off it, that just gives you a little bit of a break, a bit of a momentum shift.
96 for 4. Hayne into the leg side. Just going to be 1 again. Comfortably picked up by Harrison. Not quite so by Moores.
No, I think I took a massive divot off the covered wicket there. Just sent him flying the other way.
Yeah, the covered wickets can be perilous at times, can't they?
Yeah, they're not nice when you're fielding just behind it.
Benjamin's going to have to run here. No, he's got home safely. He's quick between the wickets. Is Chris Benjamin. Was at Durham Uni, of course, that breakout player when he played in the 100 with the Phoenix as well. Did very well. Again, just a single though. Not scoring anywhere near the weight of runs required here off every ball. 27 for Hayne, Benjamin on 4, 99 for 4.
Don't know if they're just going for a different tactic here, of just, like you said, wait it out a little bit. Shot, that, oh, unlucky.
It feels like they're just reluctant to lose any more wickets at this stage, aren't they? But
Tom Moores goes tumbling again.
I was going to say he's having a rare old time behind the stumps. They seem to be hurling at him a fair rate of knots.
I know.
12 overs gone, 99 for 4 then, as things stand.
Was it him that completely took the stumps out, or was it Lancashire?
No, it was... who did completely wipe them out? It was Davis, yeah, no, it was Davis against...
it was Davis, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's our fan of the match for tonight, the Selco Builders Warehouse fan of the match. He looks very cool with his clapper and his ton of his shades as well. And I think I've got his name here somewhere. No, I haven't. No one sent me his name. There we go. I was supposed to have his name. Whoever you are, I hope you had a nice time today. I think one of the junior Bears we saw a bit earlier on today, I suspect. There's Harrison. Hayne steps back, clubs it for 4.
Again, we've seen that shot 3 times now. It's a pretty effective, safe option, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I think if you could just muscle it with that kind of power, as Sam Hayne has done, and that's going to get another of the facets they've got. It brings up the 100, 12 overs, 103 for 4, first ball of the 13th over, so still another 112 required off 7.5 overs. We are getting into counting balls territory here. It's going to be a single this time round. So 46 deliveries remaining.
What are your thoughts on the coloured spikes? We've seen a lot kicking about now.
There are a few, aren't there? Yeah. Look, I'm not a fashionista. We've discussed the dreadful kit Notts are wearing already. I think it's disgusting. The boys didn't really agree with me. You're going to say it's all right, aren't you?
I mean, I'm personally not a fan of the green stripe across it. I liked their kit last year.
Yeah. I don't like the stripe.
No.
They're trying to. It's the Peruvian kit, football kit that they're aiming for. But that's classic white and red. I mean, we can live with that. But yeah, I don't like it. I'm not going to lie. I don't think they'll be bothered that I don't like it, but I do like that. That's fantastic from Sam Hayne, all the way back into the Hollies, and that's what we need. Huge 6 from Sam Hayne. Beautifully played as well. Effortless, that.
Effortless. He's just absolutely timed that to perfection. Halfway up the Hollies in the end.
Yeah, it was. He's moving around his crease a little bit more just to unsettle the bowler, and he's certainly unsettled Harrison. That was against the spin as well. 111 for 4. Hayne on to 38, starting to tick over. Now he's with Benjamin. These two do bat well together. We know that from previous seasons. 104 more required. Good ball from Harrison. It's a good comeback. It was full, and it just provides a single. Although actually they could have got the second because it was a really ropey throw on that occasion. I think came in from Lyndon James. I'm judging that purely by his sheer size. As Jake Ball has come on and didn't know. I'd say Jake Ball may have come back on. Yeah. So I think they will require him. So whatever was wrong with Ball and the treatment he received.
Benjamin's standing so far outside of stump here.
He is. They both seem to be doing that here, just to try and take a leaf out of Munro's. But and he's bowled him around the legs.
That's what I was nervous about.
Benjamin's gone for 5, bowled by Harrison, and the Bears lose a 5th. 112 for 5 at the end of the 13th over. So with 7 remaining and 42 deliveries to go, there's still 103 runs that are required as Benjamin makes his way off. And now, well, the options are becoming slightly trickier for the Bears.
Who's it now then?
Ed Barnard will enter the fray. Benjamin furious with himself. I mean, it was a straight ball. It hasn't spun. It's literally just smacked into leg stump.
Just quite full in the end, wasn't it? Probably a bit too full to sweep.
So Ed Barnard did all right last night. Got some runs on the board. What's his record like against Notts? I've dived in a bit early with
It's
that
not
question,
absolutely incredible, to be honest, Adam. It's 21.38 over the course of 14 innings. Does strike at 133 though, so...
Nice, we need a bit of that today.
Yeah, we certainly do.
112 for 5 then. Barnard is the new batsman. Sam Hain is on 39 from his 27 balls so far. And it'll be Sam Hain who's on strike to Mullaney here. 17 off his 2 overs so far. So 42 balls remaining. 103 runs required. We need that big over.
Yeah,
and
we need a big
soon.
over here.
I think Sam Hain was hoping that was going to be it that last over after he hit that crushing 6. Mullaney in again to Hain, and it's just going to be a single. Good ball from Mullaney. And at some point, remember, Afridi and Ball are going to be coming back. Patel seems to be dropping the hint that he wants to bowl. He's not been told he's going to.
He's getting his shoulders warm, isn't he?
I think it's like Mullaney's paying any attention because he's bowling from the far end, but I'm going to guess Samet's probably already been given the nod. And he's standing back now, Mullaney.
Interesting.
Moore's decided to go up, so Mullaney maybe going to deliver a little bit quicker this time, but he's allowed some movement around the crease for Barnard, but just a single again. And it brings Hain on strike.
Interesting, so it's come back up for Hain.
Yeah, the captain really mixing things up in terms of where he wants people to go, but really scared of the movement from Hain around the crease.
Yeah, he just won't want Hain charging at him and trying to find some extra pace, so keeping him in his crease, not a bad option. I reckon he'll be wanting Hain to try and ramp him here or play around the straight one.
In he comes again, turned on the leg side. This time they will. No, they're not. They are going to get 2
here, yeah.
Yeah, Sam Hain. I'm a dreadful judge
Quite
of a
a
run.
wild throw there.
Yeah. You would have taken 2 there every time, wouldn't you?
It's all about whether the ball's in hand. If it's not in hand, you can go for it. As soon as that ball's in hand, you're a bit under the pump there.
Lovely reflection off some of the tall towers around the Birmingham skyline tonight as that sun sets. It's been a glorious day. Hardly a wisp of cloud in the sky as Hain again turns that into the leg side once more here. This is going to be a single, isn't it? They knew that was going a bit too close to Hamid, who filled it well.
Dare I say it, I don't quite understand this approach from Hain. Of just knocking singles. It's like, I need 2 a ball minimum.
Yep, he's on 43.
3 a ball, really.
117 for 5, 98 required, so they've only added 5 off the over so far from the first 4 deliveries. They need 2 boundaries, really. Barnard gives himself some room, but he'll just knock it into the leg side and take the single. 6 off the over so far. 37 balls remaining, 97 required to win.
Yeah, so even a maximum here, a 6 still is under the rate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like we've got to at least have the intent to score maybe 6 and 4 off the first 2 balls. And then you're laughing from there, aren't you?
Mullaney in again to Hain. Again turned on the leg side. Just for a single. 119 for 5. The end of over number 14. Marie, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me again.
We'll
see you again soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll see you on screen as well after the game has ended, along with Artif, as we talk to one of the Bears' player of the match. Talking to player of the match, you can vote for that right now on Twitter. The Talbot's Law player of the match. If you want to have your say, at Warwickshire County Cricket Club, of course, is the Twitter handle. 119 for 5. Hain on 44, Barnard on 2. Liam Norwell. Marie doesn't understand the approach. Please tell us what's going on.
Well, we've got to hope for 2 or 3 very big overs now from Sam. That is a very difficult situation for him to be in, with wickets falling around him. But we need, we need big overs all the way to the end now, don't we?
Sam Hain just looks exasperated that he's only managed to smear that for 1, because he gave that a real belt. But it was well fielded down here by Afridi, who's got 2 overs to bowl as well. Samit Patel is back on again. Barnard just trying to reverse sweep that. a single, but it's a bye. Got nothing on it. Just 2 off the opening 2 deliveries. 34 balls, 94 required. Feels a long way away from here. Patel, Hayne, down the ground. Has he got enough on it? He has for 6. Big hit from Sam Hayne again, and it brings up his 50, I think. Is that a 50 for Sam Hayne? Yep, on to 51. Yet another 50 for Haney. He does it so well. Is that 23 now, Aaron?
It is indeed 23 for Sam Hayne. He is an exceptional talent. Obviously tonight might not be enough for the Bears on this occasion, but yet again he has delivered. England, I hope he's on your radar.
257 runs now in the competition so far this campaign. James Vince leading the way as the leading run scorer. He was actually until I think Wayne Madsen came along and decided that he was going to be in the form of his life. Nearly 40 years of age again as well. Here's Hayne back down the ground. This one's going to one bounce to Jake Ball. Didn't quite get enough of it. He's trying to fetch Patel from outside the off stump, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and it's been a nice innings from Sam so far, and we need him to double it and in quicker amount of balls. We need Ed Barnard to come to the party now as well.
Barnard on strike. That's a big hit into the gap, but again, Jake Ball's going to get there. They will turn and make it 2 though. Hayne gets comfortably back. Patel, he's taken that one in the hands from Jake Ball, and he's felt that in the shoulder too. I think that was well thrown. 130 for 5. One more ball to come. 31 balls remaining in Barnard. It's a dot ball. It's clever from Samit Patel.
Very good piece of bowling there, just right up on the block hole, and there's not a huge amount they can do with it. And that's the end of the over. 85 required of 5.
Yeah, 85 from 30 deliveries. Carter's going to bowl again. He's gone for 31 from his 3 so far. You feel Carter has to go here, doesn't he? I mean, to be honest, 2 or 3 of them have to go here, don't they?
We're 17 and over now. Something big has to happen here, especially to a long boundary, but it's going to take something very, very special to win it from here. But we do have Sam Hayne at the crease still.
Well, that's going to be a no ball. He's got a single, but Sam Hayne is reluctantly running that single because I think he'd quite fancy the strike for the free hit that's about to come.
Carter does not look happy with the decision.
No, he doesn't at all. There's the circle above the head. Free hit time. Good to see a replay of that.
I think Notts are insinuating Haney may have acted a little bit there, but look, you've got to do what you've got to do.
Certainly have. Here's the free hit then. Carter to Barnard. Has he got enough of that to get it to the boundary? He has for 4. Really good shot from Ed Barnard. And the free hit goes to the boundary. And, well, already that's 7 runs off the over.
So start the Bears need from this over, and we need to triple that from this over to really get ourselves going again. But Ed Barnard's a very good player coming in at number 7. We'll probably be batting higher for most teams, so we've got to hope he can bring some of the qualities he's shown over the years for Worcester, and he's started to show for the Bears to the party now. And Sam, like I said, can hopefully double his score to give us a chance.
Barnard is on 8. Carter bowls. Oh, and he's gone big this time on the leg side. Has he got enough of that to get it over the ropes? He has, well over the ropes for 6 runs.
That is an almighty shot. That's the biggest part of the ground. Cleared it by a good 10-15 yards. That's what we need Ed to do here. If Ed can do that a couple more times this over, really get the momentum going our way. He's already dropped 2 runs off of required rate just from these 2 balls.
So the tactic was to wait till there were 5 overs left and then go to town.
Well, apparently so.
In again, driven, just for a single. You learn every time you play, don't they? So was there potentially from last night a little bit of, well, actually we perhaps should have waited to the last 5 overs last night rather than kind of getting ourselves into a bit of a pickle before that?
I don't know, but it's a very different situation to last night. Yeah. It's 60 more runs, 50 more runs. This kind of total you have to go at from ball 1. And I get why we maybe knocked it around a little bit in the middle to after losing wickets. That's a lovely shot from Sam Hayne.
I mean, that is arrow straight, isn't it? If you were to drive that off the first tee at the Belfry, you'd be happy, wouldn't you? Straight as a die. from Sam Hay. Absolute beauty for 4. He's on to 57. 1, 4, 8 for 5. 18 off the first 4 balls of the over.
And the crowd just started to come about the live a little bit. It's yeah, it's going to take something special from here, but it's a brilliant start to this over with still 2 balls to go.
Carter's in again, and he bowls to Hayne, who drives him back down the ground. It's not quite going to reach the ropes.
It is.
Yes, it is! Desperate fielding at the far end, but he couldn't block it off, and it goes for 4. 22 off the over so far. 1 ball remaining. Hayne on to 61.
I think that's gone through Carter's hands. He's hit it like a tracer bullet, but look, it's a perfect over so far for the Bears.
Last ball. What can Hayne do to finish it off in style? 22 from it so far. Same again. Down the ground. Don't think this is going to make it. It's going to get cut off. He's parried it. He's parried it over for 4 more. Well, McKerr was coming in from one side, and like a goalkeeper, he's tried to parry it round the post, but he's parried it over the boundary rope for 4. Wow, what an over. 26.
That is what we need to get us going again. And you hear the crowd are up, and hopefully that can get the crowd on side and get a bit of pressure into Notts.
That was Jake Ball that went for that, and Sam Hayne is on his haunches, and he's probably pointing out, right, we've done that, now we've got a freedie and ball to deal with for the last 4 overs. And it is a freedie that's coming on at this pavilion end.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any easier at all.
It doesn't. 156 for 5. 59 required from 24 balls. It's still difficult. It's still nigh on impossible, but
you've seen it done.
It has been.
It has been done.
And if anything, they probably learn. We talk about those learnings. Last night they saw what Derbyshire did in the last couple of overs. You know, because the as per scores going into the final 3 or 4 overs weren't dissimilar.
No, they weren't.
It was just an extraordinary assault at the end. So
I think Derby hit 41 or 42 off the last 2 overs last night.
So 59 here on 4, eminently doable. Just the pressure's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. But we've got left arm over to the short boundary, so look, we're going to have to take some risk in this over against a high-class operator. But the crowd are up, hopefully on our side, and that will hopefully give Ed Barnard some encouragement to pull something magic out here.
Here we go then. 4 overs to go. A freedie, 2 for 13 from his 12 deliveries so far. He's into the attack, and he's bowling to Barnard, who gives himself room, and he lifts him. He wraps him for 4. Just lifted it over the wicket-keeper's head. Barnard on to 19, 160 for 5.
Superb shot from Ed Barnard. Takes a lot of guts to do that at a freedie's pace. He's made it look very simple. Like I said, we're very fortunate to have someone like Ed coming in at number 7 for us. We'll be batting higher for most teams, and I think he's done it for Worcester across the years. I think he might have even been batting when they won the T20 here.
19 for him off of 9 balls. Plenty of talking going on in the Notts ranks as to where they stick the fielders at this point in proceedings. A freedie in again. Barnard, he's clothed that a little bit. He's going to be out. He is. Catch taken by Harrison. And a freedie, clever delivery. Barnard not getting enough of it, and he's on his way, and it's 160 for 6. Harrison with a catch, and a freedie's got his 3rd.
Yeah, I feel like I should be quiet now. Every time I start talking up one of our batters, we keep getting out. But look, good piece of bowling, slow ball into a deck. Probably the last thing Ed was expecting to a short boundary, and a good catch running backwards.
Well, he's tried to fetch that from a long way outside the off stump, hasn't he? Which I think was part of the issue on that occasion.
I think he's got a bit carried away over the short boundary instead of watching the ball playing it on its merit. But like I said, good piece of bowling. Slow ball into it. Now Henry Brooks comes to the crease.
Well, I mean, very impressive. Ollie Hannon-Dolby has just run backwards for about 30 yards while talking to the umpire at quite some pace. That man's talents, they have no limit to them. I think he's getting told off by the umpire for charging out to see Sam Hayne then, but I don't see why. Henry Brooks is the new batsman. I mean, he can club it.
Yeah, he can. Scored a few 50s in first-class cricket. And
I reckon Lintot's going to be sitting there going, why am I not going in? Because I can club it too.
I assume we'll see Jake next. We might see Danny Briggs next because he, with his ramps and sweeps, might be useful. here, but yeah, you're just going to see Henry go and try and go with brute force, I'd imagine.
Well, Tott's high score is 41. Briggs has got a high score, got 35 not out, and Henry Brooks 31 is his highest. 160 for 6 then. Freedy's in, driven down the ground by Henry Brooks. Sam Hain just says, no, we'll take one there, thank you. 161 for 6. So 54 required of the remaining 21 deliveries.
You feel the next 2 balls need to go to a boundary to really be in with any kind of a chance. You might look to see Sam go for a ramp here with those third man and fine leg up, but Free's obviously already shown how smart he is with his options.
He does have that short boundary on the leg side, which surely Sam Hain is looking at and thinking, that's my area. There's a huge gap just backward of square if he could find it. Gives himself some room, turns it around the corner. He tries to go between the 2 fielders at the edge of the circle, but only gets a single for it. You can see where he was aiming.
Yeah, he's tried to use the pace there, and I think it might have been another slower ball, and so no pace to work with, it's just a single. Yeah, really good piece of bowling, and this is why you bring in international quality in your bowling ranks.
Yeah, sooner I think Hassan Ali can return as well, just to give that extra dimension to the Bears would be helpful. 162 for 6, 53 required, 20 balls remaining. Henry Brooks goes big and goes high and goes up into the Edgbaston night sky. It's going to fall safely, and they'll take the single. 3 fielders converging, and McCurr in the end says, well, no one called for it. Afridi thinking, really, someone should have had that, but it was up for long enough. Someone thinks it's very funny.
Yeah, somebody does.
Much laughter in the crowd here at Edgbaston. It was amusing. I'm not sure it was rip-roaringly funny, but Afridi again. This time to Hain, who's gone big! 6 from Sam Hain, all the way over the ropes. Completes the over in style. 169 for 6. He's on to 72, and it's 46 from 18 balls required now.
Quite incredible shot there from Sam. I think he's almost fetched that from the wide line. Afridi's tried to push it across him to take out the leg side, but he still managed to get it there. And now you've got Jake Ball coming on from the city end to the big boundary.
Indeed, 18 balls to come. Just Carter's figures, 4 overs, no maiden, none for 57. Took a wee bit of tap there, did Carter. 169 for 6, 46 required from 3 overs.
We really need another over like the last over from Carter now to bring us back within a touch of distance, but Jake Ball's a very canny operator. He's going to come around the wicket here, I'd imagine. He did a lot in the 100 last year, round the wicket into the heels of a batsman to 4 men out on the leg side.
Henry strikes at 124, usually around that kind of figure, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct, and you mentioned the career best of 31.
We need a bit more than that today, don't we? 169 for 6. Brooks is on strike, up in the air again. I mean, he may get away with this. It's landed safe. Sam was thinking of a second, but I think Henry said, look, if we're winning this game, it's on you, mate.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough from Henry. Like you said, if we're going to win this, Sam's going to win it for us.
He's on 72 from 40 balls is Sam Hain. Brooks on 3, doing what he needs to do. 170 for 6, 45 from 17 balls required.
You'd imagine it's either going to be slow into the deck like that last one, or it's going to be full at its heels. And with the fine leg so fine, it kind of takes a ramp out of the equation for Sam.
Yeah, boundary options through the covers, but there's fielders inside the circle. But what's worked so well for him so far is back down the ground. This time, though, he's just pulled it a little bit. Brooks is running to the non-danger end. I thought it was going to be the danger end, but they've gone for the throw long. And Sam Hain has just about got home. Decent throw there, and he'd have been in trouble.
I don't think the throw was that bad, to be honest. I think it's just skipped off the surface, and the pace of it's taken more by surprise. I'm not sure if Sam was in or not, if it's taken cleanly, but I actually don't think that's a bad throw at all from in the deep, and I think it was just a bit of a tricky one and skidded off the surface a little bit for Moores, but thankfully he didn't take it cleanly.
Sam Hain looks like he's feeling that second run there. 74 he moves on to, 172 for 6, 43 required, 16 balls to go. Talking of ball, here's Jake, and that's down the leg side, that's a wide. regardless of Sam's movement. Always going to be a wide as Ball tried to follow him, but maybe tried a little too hard.
Yeah, I think the rules have changed this year that you get a bit of leeway on the offside if the batsman's moving around, but I'm not sure you get any leeway on the leg side still. I think it's whatever the batsman initially starts is your kind of your guideline, and then anything outside that's still wide. So where Sam initially started there, it's still obviously down the leg side from it.
42 required from 16. Ball to Hayne again. Hayne gives himself room. He's gone long this time. He's gone straight. Has he got enough on it? Oh, he's dropped it. It's another dropped catch. McCurr this time, and he'll come back for a second.
It would have been an amazing catch. It was full Superman length dive, and he's actually done very well not to parry it across the boundary.
Just 2, 175 for 6. Hayne on to 76. 15 balls remaining, 40 runs required. Surely they're going to make 2 here. Yeah, they will do, because he's not hit it that well. The fireworks are going off. It's a bit premature. I mean, they'll be worth going off if it happens well, but that's the noise you can hear in the background in one of the parks not far away from here. A little bit early for the celebrations. 177 for 6. Should be giving it an ooh and an ah, really, shouldn't we, at this point? 78 for Hayne. 177 for 6. 38 required. 14 balls. Ball in. Hayne pulls that round the corner. He's hit that beautifully, but straight to Hamid and just a single. He got so much bat on that.
So much, and this is pretty much a free hit for Henry now. On strike for the last ball. If he skies it straight up in the air, Sam's still going to be on strike next over, but if he gets enough of it and gets a boundary, it's really going to help the cause. So I guess this is as much as a free hit as you're going to have.
Well, you can imagine Sam's just saying, look, it's a 2 or it's a 4 or a 6. It's nothing else, my friend. 37 off of 13 balls. And Henry Brooks does get some of it. He's skewed it. He's going to be out. He is. The catch is taken. Well taken in the end. I think by Mulaney.
Yeah, it is by Mulaney.
And ball gets the wicket. Henry Brooks is out. Sam Hayne keeps the strike. And it's 178 for 7 with 2 overs remaining.
And this is going to have to be an almighty over from Sam to give us a chance. Like I said, it was a free hit for Henry. Good bit of bowling, slow ball into the deck, but Henry didn't get any of it. And, the main thing for Bears is Sam Hayne is still there. And if he pulls this off, then the Hayne train is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, it needs to be a Carter-esque over, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That 24 that they took, or 26 I think in the end it was. Danny Briggs is the player who's coming out. And it'll be a Freedy who will bowl his final over from this pavilion end. 3 for 26 from his 3 overs so far. And I get the impression that's probably his best figures of this campaign so far, Aaron.
For who,
Freedy,
For Freedy, yeah, it is for Shaheen Afridi. With that being said, though, as Liam, as Marie have said beforehand, he's such a canny operator, isn't he? In particular, business end of a T20 match, you wouldn't want the ball in anybody else's hands in world cricket, so you'd say it's advantage Notts, but there is a man out there who has been the bogeyman for Nottinghamshire County Cricket Club, and that is Samuel Robert Hayne, the man on strike.
He'll be some bogeyman if he pulls this one off. 79, he's on, and he's on strike. Yeah, that's a quick ball from Afridi. No contact from Sam Hayne, who's furious with himself because he knows he probably got anything on that. That's flying over the square, the fine leg boundary.
It is flying over the boundary, and that's brave from Afridi bowling a short ball to that leg side boundary. But I think that's why he's one of the best in games. He's in the game. He's probably taken his option, taken his percentages there, and backed his skill and executed.
37 required then off the remaining 11 deliveries. Freedy's in again, and Hayne has screwed that one off the outside edge of the bat. That's straight up in the air. Samit Patel's underneath it. Oh, he's dropped it. He's dropped it. Samit Patel puts down Sam Hayne. He brings Briggs on strike. 36 required of 10 balls.
I think Samit thought Tom Moores was coming to get it, and Tom Moores just assumed Samit was having it because he never really set himself underneath it. He just kind of stood there.
He looked very catchy,
yeah.
didn't he? As though, I've got this, no problem, lads, it's fine. Well, he's being mocked mercilessly by the sound team downstairs.
I think Sam's furious at himself that he didn't try and run too because he started walking off.
He's on 80. He's going to have to get 100 if he's winning this game for the Bears. 179 for 7. Briggs on strike to Afridi. Just get bat on it, Danny Briggs, and he does. Outside half of the bat. It'll be a single down to third man. A wide-ish third man, actually. More of a backward point, if anything, because Patel's in the circle at a kind of more ordinary short third man. So it's 1 to the total. 35 required, 9 balls. Sam Hain on strike.
Ideal world here. We go 6-6-1 and keep Sam on strike, but any boundary of this ball,
6-6-1.
any runs, any
6-6-1 still makes it 22
of course it does,
the last over. Afridi in to Hain, trying to turn it around the corner, and he's beaten the man, and it's 4 runs. And he knows where the gaps are, and he's found one of them. 2 more of those are necessary. 84 he's on to, 184 for 7.
I think that's Colin Monroe there, just diving without much, with no real chance. But good shot from Sam. He's trying to just move across to the offside and get that short boundary. But we need those to be maximums if we've got any chance of winning this game, really.
Ball retrieved. Hain on to 84. Briggs on 184 for 7. 8 balls, 31 runs required for victory. Afridi is back at his mark. Sam Hain will take strike. 2 balls left from Afridi. 3 for 32 so far. He's in. Hain
is 6
going for 6 all the way. It doesn't need much to that leg side boundary, but when you're Sam Hain, you give it plenty. Over the rope it goes. Another 6. 190 for 7. He's on to 90.
He's swept Afridi like he's bowling spin there, and he's bowling at some good pace. But that's just how good Sam Hain is. Now we need another one of those to have 19 off the last over.
Yeah, it would, and you'd even take Briggs facing the first ball.
Oh, you would, yeah. This needs to go to the boundary.
Last ball from Afridi. Last ball of over 19. 7 remaining. 25 required. Afridi in again to Hain, who just plays it into the offside. It was a good ball from Afridi. It's only a single. It's 24 required off the last 6 balls. 191 for 7. Hain's on to 91. Briggs on 1.
Well, if we win it from here, it's going to be one of the all-time great wins. Danny just needs, hopefully Danny can find a boundary first ball, but if not, just get Sam on strike, and hopefully Sam can pull off something amazing. As Sweet Caroline is ringing around the ground, the crowd are trying to get themselves up.
9 runs away from a second T20 100. 24 runs away from an epic run chase for the Birmingham Bears, should it be successful. Briggs is on 1, and he's going to be at the non-striker's end.
Apologies, I got that wrong.
Yep, Jake Ball is on strike. 24 required. I mean, take your pick. 6 fours will do, won't it? I mean, we'll all be happy with that, won't we? He knows what he needs to do. He knows where the gaps are. But Ball is a canny bowler, and he bowls to Hain, who turns that off his legs. He's tried to find the gap. It's going to find the gap. He's got the gap. 5 more of them will do the job. 195 for 7. Hain's on to 95.
Sam's back to 8 of leg side to try and open up the offside. Ball's followed him, and he's timed it beautifully, and it's just flown away across the square and beaten him, diving Hamid. And like I said, 20 of 5 balls. If this goes to the boundary, everyone's believing, and Ball's going to be Ball's already under pressure, but if this goes to the boundary, he's under a huge amount of pressure.
Hamid and Harrison could do nothing to stop that. Ball again to Hain. Turns it round the corner. Oh, he's found the fielder this time. It's only going to be a single. Takes it down to 19 from 4. Time for Danny Briggs to come to the party. Hain moves on to 96 from 51 balls.
A few times in his Bears career so far, Danny's found a way to score runs when we needed them. In 2021, when we won the championship, he got us over the line to get us that vital batting point. And then last year, in the last game of the season, he hit his first ball for 6, and that ended up being the difference in the game of the relegation battle. And he also did it in the 100 last year. I think that might be his career best score when he won the game for the Oval.
Ball in. Oh, he's bowled him. Oh, he needed to get bat on ball. And it's 19 now required off 3 deliveries, so they're going to have to get a helping hand here from the Outlaws. Briggs is on his way. Bowled for 1 by Jake Ball. He's got his 3rd wicket. And it's another one down for the Bears. 196 for 8.
Yeah, like I said, we now need a helping hand. We need extras. And we need Lintop to clear the boundary 3 times.
Someone spotted there's a no ball. If only. Hayne on 96, 196 for 8. Jake Lintott is the new batsman. I mean, he'll often talk about how he was batting higher than Chris Gale, won't he? He'll tell you all about that, the universe class, yeah. I'm surprised he's coming in now. I'm surprised he didn't come in ahead of Briggs or even ahead of Henry, because he has got the ability to muscle the ball around.
He has, and he works very hard at his batting. But look, he's got, well, you know, he's obviously what he's got to do. He's got to hit 3 6 in a row to tie the game. And just no one's found it easy to hit from ball 1, and it's going to take, well, pretty much a miracle from here.
It is a miracle. A ball slipping out the hand and going above waist height would do nicely, but 196 for 8 then. 19 required, 3 balls to go. Ball to Lintott. Lintott has got hit it out the ground for 6. It's huge from Jake Lintott.
Massive.
Well, if ever you're saying to the coach and the captain, why am I batting at number 10 when you need runs? That's it. The 200's up, 202 for 8. 12, well, 13 required to win, but 12 for the tie.
That's a huge hit first ball. 2 more of those from Jake will do, please. But yeah, like you said, he's going to be walking back in there and say, where have I been?
It's massive from Jake Lintott.
That's huge.
13 required, 2 balls. So it's 12 for the tie, 202 for 8. Ball again to Lintott. Oh, and he's hit him and he's gone down. And well, Hayne is going to go in, and Lintott's going to run to the other end. He's going to be run out, and I think Lintott not happy with the ball in the first place. But he's gone. It's a 9th wicket down. Hayne's on strike, and 202 for 9.
I'm not entirely sure where it's hit him.
I think inside of the thigh,
yeah.
I think, looking at where he's holding. Yeah, looks a bit uncomfortable that for Jake Lintott. Craig Miles will come out then to stand at the non-striker's end. So this is all about Sam Hayne. 13 required to win, obviously off 1 ball, unless there's some disaster from Nottinghamshire. Sam Hayne is on 96. 1 ball to come from Jake Ball. He's only scored 1 century in T20 cricket so far, which funnily enough came against Nottinghamshire last season, of course. And that's his highest score, of course, 112 not out at Trent Bridge in that epic score of, the record score, 261, was it? 261, I think. Yeah, 261 for that. So Craig Miles is in, but the question is, can Sam Hayne get that 2nd century? 96 of 51 balls. It's not a game for personal milestones, but the way he's played, no one would begrudge him. In comes ball, and it's a short ball.
It's got to be too high.
Well, you would have thought so, but because Hayne has hit it, I think it'll just be the single. He'll finish 97 not out. 203 for 9 is the end of the game, and it's a victory in total by 11 runs for the Notts Outlaws after they posted a total of 214 for 3. The Bears have come up just short, despite the very best efforts as ever of Sam Hayne, who finishes unbeaten on 97 from 52 deliveries. Again, another terrific performance against the Outlaws, but in the end the loss of wickets throughout Liam Norwell probably just cost them dear.
Yeah, every time we got momentum it just stalled. Look, it's a great innings from Sam. He'll be gutted he didn't get us over the line. But yeah, that's what taking consistent wickets in a T20 does. Yeah, every time we look like we're getting momentum, when Ed Barnard and Sam got going, we lost a wicket. When at the top, when Moeen and Davo got going, we lost a wicket. Like, every time we look like we're getting ourselves in the game, we lost a wicket. And there's only so much one man can do, and Sam Hayne just couldn't quite get us across the line tonight, but a superb innings from him.
Yeah, it was. I mean, as we say so often, when you are chasing a total of that size, you do need to go for a ball one, don't you? You cannot. Looking back, I mean, they did seem to go for a period from probably after they lost, just before the loss of Benjamin. They seemed content for 4 or 5 overs to score at 6, 7 and 8 and over with the odd boundary, despite the run rate at that point already being 13. Did they put too much pressure on themselves for the final 5 overs?
I think if you kept wickets in hand, no, because then you've got the freedom, but it was for, like I said, every time we got momentum we lost wickets. But yeah, the hindsight's a wonderful thing, and maybe we could have pushed more in that middle section, but when someone's got 97 or 50 balls, if the other rest of the team scored at that rate, we probably win the game, or we do win the game. So it's probably more of a losing just consistently losing wickets, and probably not always picking the best option.
Yeah, the partnership between Sam Hain and Dan Mosley, that was 52 that they put on for the 4th wicket, provided that a bit of momentum. But again, Benjamin was out with the score 112, and then Barnard and Hain put on 48. See, there were little partnerships without ever really kind of doing the kind of partnership we saw from Clark and we saw from Munro, which ultimately has been the difference in this match, hasn't it?
Completely, and that partnership allowed them to then have freedom at the end to mix around their order, throw Tom Moores in up the top, and just have license to go at the end, to go at the death. And that's what we didn't have, because we always had a lower order batsman in with Sam at the death, so it's always left down to Sam to find that big shot. Until Jake hit that boundary, I don't think any of the bottom 4 would have hit a boundary, apart from when batting with Sam in the last 4 overs. I think Sam probably hit all but 1 boundary of those last 4 overs.
Yeah, it was a very, very impressive display again from Sam Hain. I hate to say it, do we rely on him too much, maybe?
Look, when you've got a player of that quality, you are always going to rely on him. Notts did with Munro and with Clark. We just need a couple of others to get your 20s and 30s and 40s at a good run rate, at a good strike rate, and then you've got a good chance of chasing down that total. Like I said, our 2 main partnerships were with Dan, who batted at 5, and Ed, who batted at 7, so we just never got that partnership at the top of the order to then give us the platform to chase that total down.
So back-to-back defeats then, following the defeat against Derbyshire last night, and tonight against Notts. Derby are the next opponents on Wednesday night here. We'll have that live for you on Bears Den TV. Just a reminder, some of the key moments of the card. Sam Hain 97 not out from 52 balls, 4 sixes and 8 fours. Supported at times by Dan Mosley with 28 from 18 balls, Ed Barnard 19 from 10, and then at the top of the order we saw Alex Davis with 19 from 10 and Moeen Ali with 10 from 12. Everyone else in single figures in the end, not quite delivering as was required. Following 2 defeats, important to bounce back on Wednesday night though, isn't it? Just to wrestle that momentum back, because a 4-2 record is fine, a 4-3 record, and then you're starting to get twitchy.
Yeah, definitely. We need to bounce back on Wednesday. Look, it's 2 games and 2 nights. Games come thick and fast, and obviously two losses is far from ideal, but if we win on Wednesday when we're 5-2, we're still going to be top 2 or 3 in the league. And like I said, that's a nice position to be. But 4-3, you're starting to fall back into mid-table, and then you've got a lot of ground to catch up when we've got the big derby games coming against a Worcester side who are flying.
Yeah, they very much are. Liam, been a pleasure. Aaron, thank you for your company tonight as well. So not the night we wanted, plenty of high drama, another super innings from Sam Hain, but it's not enough. The Outlaws will go away from Edgbaston having robbed victory. They won by 11 runs in the end.
Not to be for the Birmingham Bears today. I mean, I thought for a second they were going to do it, especially when Lintott hit that 6. You know, it felt like there were 2 more 6s there, Marie. I mean, we were watching, we were thinking they could do this. They could do this. But ultimately, it was just a little bit too much for them to do. But what a chase, though.
I know, it's just that glimmer of hope at the end, wasn't it? Hain, unbelievable innings. Just needed a couple of the people just chip in, a few extra runs there. And yeah, an exciting chase for us as spectators. Always felt like we were close there towards the end.
Because it felt really, really difficult. And again, you know, from the death, you got sort of 2 overs from Shaheen to deal with as well.
Yeah.
But they really went for it. And, you know, the acceleration from Hain was amazing. The partnership between him and Dan Mosley, I thought, you know, I had a feeling they were going to take it deep. But then really, as you say, I mean, Clark and Monroe had that sort of double act, didn't they? But there was nobody there to partner with Sam Hain, really.
I know, and I think credit to Montgomery as well for taking that outstanding catch that changed the game, really. I think if Mosley had been in there for a few more overs, then that could have changed it. So credit where credit's due there, but yeah, unbelievable from Hain.
Yeah, he was terrific. There was an outstanding catch, wasn't it? We won't talk about the really bad drop from Nottinghamshire. Somebody else can do that. But I mean, 203 is where they ended up. Sort of conceding a 215-ish total here was always a bit of a... It felt like they just let them get away from them a bit.
Exactly, and that's kind of that momentum we were talking about at the back end. Few slip-ups in the field and things like that. Those extra sort of 12, 13 runs towards the end, that's where it all adds up. So, yeah, I think around that 200 mark and we'd have been in.
That power play... They were going fine. They were going about 10s, just under 10s in the power play. And it felt like they were within, just there or thereabouts with the chance to accelerate. And they really entertained this crowd, I have to say. Some of those sixes were huge from Ed Bernard. Even that was a superb. I don't think anybody expected him to put in the performance that he did. But there were some big shots in there, really entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. And he's striking at over 200, which is what you want, someone coming in, partnering with Hain. But yeah, just needed somebody, I guess, a little bit earlier to do that as well. I think Hain showed the approach that obviously worked out for the best. But yeah, we thought they were all going to go guns blazing, weren't we? And they tried to do that and it didn't quite pay off.
Jake Lintott, though, 6 off 2. Yeah. That's a strike rate of 300. You'd send him up the order. Send him up the order, coach. Seriously. No, I mean, it was really impressive. Just that top order. I mean, well, let's talk about that a little bit. We talked about the big stars not quite having come through. Obviously, Shaheen corrected that from a Nottinghamshire perspective today, but from a Birmingham perspective, still haven't seen what we're after from Glenn Maxwell. It is hard, though, when you have to go from the word go.
Yeah, I know. It's difficult. And obviously, we don't know what kind of previous performances he's come from abroad. So, yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for him chasing 200 when you're already kind of not in form anyway, or not having put some recent performances in. Hopefully, we can still see it. There's still a few games to go. We're still near that top of the table. Is it down to second now? So,
yeah.
So, yeah, we're still not in worried territory, are we? So he'll be all right. He'll come good in the end.
Yeah, no, we're still in second place. Started the game in second place. Before the game, they were in second place and remain in second place, the Birmingham Bears. But 2 big matches next week as well, both at home on Wednesday and Friday.
Right.
I mean, Moeen will want to, he'll want to get that first win as captain under his belt, won't he?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I'm sure he'll be looking to put in a performance with the bat as well, and he'll be disappointed with that tonight. But like we say, with this aggressive style of cricket, it's going to happen, chasing that bigger total. But yeah, we just needed somebody else to do it with Hain.
Just needed one more person, didn't they? Just one more person to partner. It didn't come in the end. Some of the bowling performances from Nottinghamshire is the people you'd expect, really. Shaheen Afridi and Jake Ball, terrific. I mean, that's a world-class opening attack. We talked about it before. I mean, Matthew Carter opened the bowling today, but he actually took a lot of... It's the most expensive of the bowlers, in fact. They went for 57 from his 4. But Jake Ball, holding his nerve in the end, especially with that 6.
Yeah,
I keep going back to it. But when Jake Lintott hit that 6, there was a real palpable feeling that he could do something magical in Birmingham tonight.
Absolutely. I don't think he expected that to happen, did he, Jake Ball? But then you could see he switched, he turned and went, and you knew that a deathly Yorker was coming in, and it looked quite nasty, actually, that probably hurt Jake Lintott quite a bit on the foot there, completely knocked him off his feet. But yeah, and I think Mullaney actually had a really good effort with the ball as well in that middle phase. Went quite underrated, I think, and not really noticed, but he just kept them ticking under, didn't he, quite nicely.
They focused really well as well. I know they were getting a lot of stick from our PA guys as well. I spent some time in the tent, where they play the music around the ground. There was a lot of the kind of funny, sort of circusy music and stuff.
Yeah.
But they kept their composure quite well, I thought, Nottinghamshire, in the face of all of that. And yeah, I mean, it was difficult. Like, it was difficult for Birmingham. It was always going to be difficult. What did they take from this game?
I think it potentially worth talking to Hain about how he went about that innings. I think he showed that you can catch up a lot later, so it's potentially worth kind of learning from that as how to chase a big total like that. Do we need to take a little bit extra time in the power play and go from there? I think I've probably learnt that actually from watching from my own batting point of view, that you maybe don't need to go as hard that early, and you can always catch up a bit later on. I think if one more person had done that, then yeah, they may have got over the line. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. You never know. If Maxwell had got 20 off 10 balls, then everyone would be like, oh, that's all right, you can just go hard from ball 1. So yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but yeah, maybe just learning how to chase that massive total.
Yeah, you hear the sort of the best players in the game talk about this as well. Like I remember reading an interview with Joss Butler where he said he never really worries about playing out 2 or 3 dot balls.
Yeah.
He knows that he can always recover his strike rate. He's only a few shots away. I can see some of the players down there signing autographs for the fans, which is really nice. It's a lovely touch. And there's a lot of fans still hanging about to get their autographs and their selfies and things like that on the boundary edge over there. All the players. I mean, they'll be no doubt disappointed not to close out the win, but still taking the time to do that's a nice touch.
Absolutely. Do you know how many fans we had in tonight? Did you know the number?
We don't know the exact number, but I'll try and find out for you. I can tell you that we're going to be joined again, second consecutive match, by Dan Mosley. Come join us, Dan. Thanks for stepping in. I know we were going to try and get hold of Sam Hain, but apparently he's very, very tired, which is well earned.
Hello.
Good to see you again. Good to see you again. A pleasure to have you. We could have you in as the same circumstances as we did the previous game, where you put in a stunning effort. I mean, you were going quite well, sort of in the middle with Sam Hain. It felt like you guys could, just do the equivalent of what Clark and Monroe were doing for Nottinghamshire, but it felt maybe it was a bit too much of a task in the end.
Yeah, obviously we're disappointed. They got obviously a really good score. I thought we could have done it, and we obviously came up close. Haney had an unbelievable knock, and we probably just needed someone just to stay with him. But yeah, credit goes to Haney for an unbelievable knock. But yeah, it just wasn't to be tonight.
What were you guys sort of talking about when you were out there? Because you had a little partnership going in the middle. That required rate was increasing while you were there. What was your kind of strategy at the time when you were out in the middle?
It's just run hard. Obviously, there's a really big boundary one side and a smaller fence the other. And Haney said to me, "I'm going to take a bowler," and that's what our plan was to pick a bowler each almost. And if it was in our area, try and put it out the ground. And yeah, it didn't. Obviously, for Haney's knock, it was unbelievable, but it didn't quite come off for us to win the game.
When they got away to such a big total, I mean, they got 214 in the end. I mean, did it feel like you guys let them get away a little bit, or were you thinking that's fine, that's chaseable?
Obviously, when someone gets 214, it's a pretty big score, and it's a big ask to knock it off. But not at any point at half time do we think we couldn't knock it off. Obviously, we came up close, we got 200 again, which just shows how well we're batting as a team. But not at any point did we think we couldn't knock that off, and tonight it just wasn't to be. And we just dust ourselves down after 2 defeats, but we're not all. It's not gloom and doom down there. Obviously, we've won the first 4. We're in a really good spot. So hopefully on Wednesday night we can come away with a win.
Absolutely, you got 2 big games back here at Edgbaston, Wednesday and Friday next week. What's it been like having Moeen back in the team?
Yeah, it's been good. I've been lucky to play under Mo with the Phoenix. And it's great to have him back. Obviously, he's a local boy, and he's a Bears fan. He's a Bears boy, so it's great to have him around. And not only as a captain, but also as a batter and a bowler and as a bloke. He's top drawer. So yeah, we're all really happy to have him here.
Marie, I know you wanted to ask a couple of questions as well after that performance.
Yeah, it's just about when you're chasing a big total like that. Is there any kind of approach in the dressing room before you go out? Do you want to attack the power play, go harder, or give yourself a bit of time, like we saw Clark, go a bit slower to start with, and then accelerate? Is there any kind of approach before you go out?
I think for us, obviously, the power play is massive. If you get off to a good start in the power play, you put the team in the best possible position with 2 men out, and it was more just reacting, playing the ball, because it was a good wicket. What were they after 2 overs? weren't on many, so it actually showed how good of a wicket it was, and let's try and take it as deep as we possibly can. And unfortunately tonight, like I said, it didn't come off, but we're not all doom and gloom, because we've got 200 again against a very good team, and it just wasn't to be tonight.
No, it wasn't, but we were very entertained. It was a very, very entertaining performance from Birmingham. We wish you the best. Thanks so much for taking the time, Dan.
Thank you.
Go well on Wednesday.
Thank you.
And on Friday as well, we'll be back again. Marie, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Lovely to have you back again. Hopefully we'll get to see you again here on Bears Den TV. But that's all we have for today. Sadly for the Bears, not a win, but we'll be back next week Wednesday and on Friday for 2 big games here at Edgbaston. Until then, from all of us here, good night, everybody.